Well, hello everybody. Welcome back once again for Worcester Council Theater 3000. I'm here with Bill Shaner. I'm here with Yenni Desroches. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. Doing just fine. Everything's golden.
Oh, Yenni's not doing great. She has left. She quit. She quit the show.
She's out of here.
Smart move.
Yeah.
Bill, we're starting slightly early, a couple minutes earlier than we normally start. We may have a special guest coming up here in a few minutes, so we're very excited about that. In the meantime, let's bring in Brendan Melican, our symbolic Gen Xer.
Yo.
As always. How you doing, my friend?
I'm really getting sick of Canada's bullshit. I can't breathe in this goddamn city.
They're shooting wildfires at us.
They're becoming the annoying roommate who's burning sage to get rid of ghosts.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
How are you, Yenni?
I'm all right. I'm really not a fan of the fires. No, I had to wear my mask to take the dog out because the first time I didn't, and I had to use my inhaler.
Fun. It's very fun. It's cool times.
Yeah, it's great.
Yenni, great comments last night on the.
Thanks.
You got a shout out from Marco on Twitter as well, so that was pretty cool.
That was
a coveted Marco shout out.
That was a crazy. There was a crazy shit show, and it looks like Alan Bussey gave some comments there, so that's good to know.
What a hero, Alan Bussey.
Yay! So yeah, cool times, but we won. We won once.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one win. You got to take the wins when they come.
Yeah, because they'll never come again. So
I was really sad there wasn't like clapping in the room for me to like unmute and just like clap with everyone.
Yeah.
Cool.
I also I genuinely enjoyed that we couldn't really hear the crowd because it was amazing how much they were getting thrown off by how loud and obnoxious people were being. But to us, it just sounded like nothing. It felt like they were quietly like filing out, and clearly that wasn't happening.
Someone wrote in to tell me that the cop on detail there was giving high fives to Alan Bussey and all the cranks as they walked out of the room. Like, you'll get him next time, champ. You know.
Yeah, that's essentially what we're discussing now. But that's over. We the good guys won for the day. So on to today.
Well, until they appeal it.
Right.
Because it's probably going to get appealed again.
Yeah.
And we're going to have to face the same exact fight for the same shelter. So It's not completely done. They do have one more chance. The residents in that area have one more chance to appeal it. I believe it's one more chance. It might be more than that. I hope it's just one more. More than that would really suck.
Yeah, I wonder what we were trying to figure out what the process is for that appeal. Do you know, Yenni, at all?
Nope.
Or Bill, did you figure
even realize there was one?
No, I was going to make a call and then I just didn't. I did something else.
What about my life?
Yeah, right.
How about for tonight? Anything interesting on the agenda? I know that somebody mentioned it in the chat before, but the item on the constables is back up tonight, and
that's back up.
They had posted about it earlier today. I don't know that anything is going to change on that, but
no. I mean, it looks like the approving the budget is on the agenda. I don't know if we're going to get there. And there's a hilarious petition from Wayne Griffin, friend of the show.
Just saw that.
To remove art in the park installations at Elm Park. He's apparently mad at there being art in Elm Park.
Oh, cool.
Get it out of there. Yeah, let me just look at these orders real quick because I haven't really.
I hadn't even looked at the agenda. I was so fed up with everything last night that I was just like, I can't.
Yeah, you gotta take a break sometimes. Rivera has an anti-litter campaign. That's great. We'll talk about trash again. Fucking
Cool.
amazing. City trash bags in trash receptacles. Okay.
City trash bags. Was that all the people talking last night?
Dun, dun, dun.
They're actually going to be fixing Hadwin Park's boardwalk.
Wow.
Really?
That's in the capital finance item transfer.
That's incredible.
That means, well, it took them a while to like even get the evaluation of what it would take to fix it. I don't know why it took them that long, but now that there's an appropriation on here for it, well, not an appropriation, it's a transfer from Shore Park to Hadwin Park. Okay, so we're shuffling money around. But that means there's money going to be allocated for it in the tune of $136.8 thousand to fix a boardwalk.
Cool. Great.
Yeah,
these things cost so much.
Patel has an order on about the Big D.
Water
that lot on Mill Street, trying to rezone it to residential zoning.
Interesting.
So that housing could be built there instead of it just being empty. Sorry, Brendan. I don't think that allows for your water slide. But
you can live on a water slide.
Yeah. You can live under a water slide.
Yeah.
And someday I will, damn it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be the most coveted real estate for tents in 2040.
That's what we're all living in. We'll be dead from fighting over water. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah, if the whole Eastern Seaboard doesn't burn down.
The water quality report just came out.
Poop?
No, the drinking water.
Okay.
Also poop.
And we passed all of the technical regulations, except for the fact that 2 of the samples were higher than would pass. But because the average was okay, we were fine.
Okay. So it's probably safe to drink in most cases.
Yeah.
That's,
yeah.
That's about the bar we're hitting here in Worcester. The water is mostly okay.
The newest, latest updated quotas either. The EPA or something at the federal level is about to put out new numbers that are far lower that our numbers as they currently stand would not meet.
Good thing we got this out ahead of time then.
Can't we just steal more water from Holden?
Right.
I mean, that seems to be the plan going forward.
If you want to get your ass sued, which Worcester constantly does want to get its ass sued.
We're good at it.
Yeah.
The most recent police lawsuit is a doozy.
Yeah, Bill, you want to detail that a little bit from
I wrote about it a little bit, but I want to take a more substantive look because it's a 100-page document. There's 12 plaintiffs. It all has to do with that June 2020 instance of like 70 cops against 20 kids shooting, less than lethal ammunition at them, throwing them to the ground, arresting them. And there's 44 charges in total, which is crazy. And 2 of them implicate Augustus and Steve Sargent directly, which is significant, especially since Ed Augustus is now a bigwig state cabinet member. And false arrest reports, malicious arrests, police brutality, and the narrative of what went into assembling this like small war party to sick on protesters is crazy. It was like all hands on deck, get every cop you possibly could into riot gear, and have them ready and waiting to kettle protesters should there be any. And meanwhile, while Stephen Sargent is orchestrating all of this, he's kneeling with the protesters for the cameras. And none of the cops involved in that had any training on crowd control at all. They didn't start, or de-escalation techniques. They didn't start doing any of that sort of training until 2022. So we basically just gave these cops smoke grenades, rubber bullets, foam tip bullets, and body armor, and said, just, you know, get nutty with it. Have fun.
Test them out.
Yeah. Also, a lot in that report about how that stuff is carcinogenic and cancerous, especially the smoke grenades, which was a real treat to read, knowing that I breathed in so much of that when I was there.
Well, you were doing like vape tricks with it.
Yeah. I was kind of like Gandalf in the Fellowship of the Ring. I was blowing out little ships.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool when you like stood in front of the cops and said, "You shall not pass."
Yeah, it worked too.
They kicked the shit out of you.
Yeah.
Fucking Balrogs.
Oh my god. Yeah, you fucking Balrogs.
Turns around, all the protesters, fly, you fools.
Yeah, right. You fucking Balrogs. Go back to the fiery depths. Get out of here. Go back to the fiery depths whence you came.
That's why we call him Bill the Gray now.
Yeah, right. Yeah, then I died.
Yeah, and then now he's Bill the White.
Yeah, it's like I'm tumbling to the depths with a riot cop officer, and I just like take his baton and stab him, and it goes through his stomach on the way down. We both crash into like a subterranean river. It's pretty sick.
You grab his phone, throw it, and then you grab his special camera phone that they gave him for free.
Yeah.
Throw that as well.
He somehow managed to turn his body camera off on the way down too. That was pretty nifty of him. That's pretty good.
Yes, that is a particularly great. I thought that was serious for a second. That his middle name was Peter Griffin.
Wayne P. Griffin.
Hey,
Wayne Peter Griffin.
You think that's
honestly
bad?
I don't think I ever checked what his middle name was on when I was running, because I've got access to like full names that are for registered voters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they might have he might actually have his middle name in there.
This is worse than the time when they put Art in the park.
Check.
Is it at all clear what he is upset about with
No, I hope he speaks.
Yeah, that'd be great.
If I remember correctly, there's a LGBTQ pride-esque one, something that kind of is like tangentially related to pride. So that's probably it.
Okay.
He's Wayne.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You know, all those frogs in Elm Park are gonna get turned gay.
There were poor people near it, so he's hoping to shut it down.
He saw a brown child smile, and that was just too much for him.
A bridge you actually had to climb with rappelling gear to go too far. That was an unwalkable bridge.
I like how they put the little like blocker steps into that bridge, just like an acknowledgement that it's literally impossible to walk over. So it seems like the council's still in budget hearings, right?
Yes.
They probably will be for some time, but
they are selling alcohol outside. You'll have to have a bracelet, I believe, for the parking lot to. Yeah, they do it. They do it all the time. Make sure you guys are coming to that. Let's throw that up there for a second.
It's gonna be a fun time.
It's gonna be so fun. I'm so excited. I cannot wait. We're having some issues with some of the contestants for the top dog. I don't know if I'm like even like really allowed to talk about it, but Eric Yankees Franco is being pretty difficult right now.
He is. I mean, he's really putting up a big stink.
He is, yeah. And we're being so there's some footage that we're being forced, I think, to release, which I'm not really not happy about, and I've been dealing with that all day. So I don't know. I hope people don't watch it, but
it's really damning stuff.
Yeah, it's not going to be good. So I don't know. But
he did so well last year. So
that's that's at the heart of the issue, Bill. So
he he ate no hot dogs. I don't think he ate a single bite.
He did not. He did not. And again, that's a very contentious issue. I'm really not even allowed to say anything about it anymore. But coming on
There's
down
an
on
NDA
Saturday.
involved. There's an NDA.
Yeah. Yeah. If you need more info, then you know, follow Worcester Hot Dog Safari on Instagram. And make sure you come down on Saturday because it's gonna be the rest of the day is gonna be really fun. You know, not excited about that part, but everything else should be really great. And it's gonna be a great day. I think we're gonna have an amazing time. So
it's gonna be good stuff.
I can reveal now as well that we were trying to get Shaun. Shaun is throughout the opening pitch at the Woo Sox tonight. Him and his brother Mark, and he was going to try and dial into the show and be on his phone while he was throwing the pitch, but it did not happen. He did throw the pitch already.
That's great.
So it's too bad. He's disappointed me once more.
Another person on the shit list. Another person on the Worcester City Council Theater 3000 shit list.
You know, it's just unfortunate. I wish you could trust people, but you can't. So
can't trust anybody.
Nobody that isn't in this room right now. But yeah, he is ALS Awareness Day, and in honor of Tim Connolly, the boys threw out the pitch. So very exciting. I hope they threw it good.
Well put, Brian.
Thank you. Any other major stuff on the agenda that you guys can think of?
No, the agenda's pretty light. I think that it was interesting. It'll be interesting to see the report when it comes back about Christian King asked for a police department report on settlement payouts. So that report, if it's in any detail, will be interesting to see, especially if it lists like specifically how those are paid for, which I am pretty sure comes directly out of the law department budget is the way that it works. And actually they're reviewing the law department budget in finance right now. It's on the agenda for this finance committee meeting. So that might come up. But also Worcester is nominated for a nationwide anti-transparency award.
Nice.
Let me pull up the details on that real quick. We're among 3 other cities across the nation which acted in such an opaque way that they got a nod from a professional organization of investigative journalists as being particularly awful at responding to public records requests. Yeah. Okay. So Andrew Kwemmer, who writes for me occasionally and has a really great newsletter of his own called Mass Dump, which is specifically about public records issues, said that the city of Worcester is one of 4 finalists for this year's Golden Padlock, an annual award that Investigative Reporters and Editors, Inc. bestows on the most secretive government agencies and officials. IRE chose the 4 for wasting thousands of tax dollars on an illegal effort to keep records of police misconduct investigations secret for years. And then he goes on to list the sort of the entire backstory of Brad Patrician at the Telegram trying to get these records, and the city fighting them in court for 3 years, then ultimately losing. Good for them. Good for us. It's really great that we're getting this sort of national recognition.
But the city viewed it as a win because it wasn't timely.
Right. It was a win for the city because, they couldn't write the stories that they wanted to for 3 years. And that works. Yeah, even like the state judges that heard this is they were like kind of appalled by the city's behavior. They were like, what are you guys doing? A very interesting thing that the city will probably repeat again if anyone ever tries to get police misconduct records again. This is the 3rd time that the Telegram has sued the city in this way. It seems like they are committed to their playbook of paying lawyers instead of holding the police to account. Yeah, we could run down. We haven't really talked about the election ballot on this show in any sort of comprehensive way, but the District 2 race is extremely interesting to me because Candy, the incumbent, has now 2 challengers. Rob Bellotta, who's great, a great progressive advocate in the city, and would make a fine city councilor, would be a great addition to city council. And then Phil Palmieri, one of the most obnoxious townies in Worcester, with the most well-documented obnoxious behavior, who is frankly one of the funniest people ever. Phil winning over Candy would be great for our purposes because it would put a real showman back in the city council chambers. But the path that I envisioned with District 2 is that Candy and Phil cannibalize each other and take each other down over their little petty bullshit, and Rob just skates right into the seat. That would be the ideal scenario for District 2. District 4 is going to be nutty too. I don't know if you guys saw Sarai Rivera's rant on Facebook recently.
No.
Sarai Rivera went on Facebook and started injecting herself into this race for the seat she's leaving open. And she said, if you're running for District 4, don't describe the district just by crime and grime. I am not oblivious to the challenges that we have, but they are no different than any urban setting. Also from many other parts of the city. Educate yourself with actual data and facts. We have challenges, yes, but I am also very aware of the vibrancy, beauty, strength, and all amazing aspects of the district. So I don't know who is
does anyone know who said that? Because
that should
immediately tank their candidacy.
Yeah, I'm running to be
won't, but it should.
It fucking sucks. I hate Maine South. It's the worst place in the city. If I had to guess, it was Ted Costas that said something.
Probably.
If I really had to guess, but I don't actually know. Yeah, we've got 5 people running for that seat. Katia Norford, Luis Ojeda, I believe is how you pronounce it, Maria Montano, Maureen Schwab, and Ted Costas. Ted Costas became famous on this show for a minute because of his claims of being both Greek and Albanian, which is a power play. That's a boss move. And I
mean, technically you could be both, but not when you claim to be 100% of one of them.
Right. That throws a little wrench in it.
He claimed to be 100% Greek at one point.
And he's like, no, it was just in territory annexed after World War I or something. It used to be Albania. Luis Ojeda. Okay, thank you. Appreciate that, Jack.
I wish there was like anything really out there that the other District 4 candidates have started like campaigning on. It doesn't really seem that they've started really campaigning yet. They don't have websites up. Most of them don't have social media. It's Maine South Chronicles is Maria Montano. But I feel like there's a difference when you put your name as a candidate on something versus when you've got like a blog-ish kind of Facebook profile page.
Yeah.
You get different messages out of it. And I mean, it's useful to have that. And she does seem to be like a fairly decent person, and I do very much like her comments when she comments on the Facebook streams for the city council meetings.
Yeah.
She comes in there sometimes speaking truth that I was about to type and didn't have to. But other than that, I don't know really anything. Oh, she does have a campaign page now. Okay. I don't know much of anything about what's going on with any of those candidates, except for knowing that I would steer everyone away from Costas.
Yeah, that's basically where I'm at too. I haven't familiarized myself too much with any of them yet. In District 1, though, we got a very nice glimpse of one of the candidates last night, Larry Shetler, coming in hot, comparing citing a homeless shelter to redlining in some way. That was really hard to figure out. He's like, we don't redline anymore, but we do risk assessments. And, when you have a homeless shelter near you, it does bad things for your risk assessment. So it will drive property values down. So the homeless shelter's redline, actually, it was very, very bizarre.
He also refused to address the board and kept turning to talk to the audience. So
he was like
going away from the mic.
Yeah. He was campaigning to his people. So
yeah.
So he sucks. He's of course running against Yenni Desroches and David Peterson. I don't know much about David Peterson, but Yenni Desroches is known to me. I said that kind of sketchy. I know Yenni Desroches. She's cool.
Real quick, they're on a break from finance, and the meeting will start at 7.
Okay.
Cool.
Thank you, Travis. Oh wait, is it that David Peterson who's the president of the Bravehearts?
Yeah, it's Peterman.
Yeah.
Peterman? Ah, fuck, I fucked up.
No, it's Peterson, but his character is Peterman.
What?
Go to a Bravehearts game.
So I didn't make a mistake with this guy's name.
Right. People just call him Peterman because of the guy from Seinfeld, Jay Peterman. But his real name is Peterson.
And he is the Bravehearts guy. The Bravehearts guy is running for city council.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, at least we know what his platform is going to be.
Yeah, getting the clap.
He's running. He's running on being anti-baseball, but not like that.
Anti-Woo sucks.
Yeah.
Sure.
I don't know about that.
St. Possums. Jose Rivera is not Chamber of Commerce. He's the boxer. The Chamber of Commerce is Alex. I'm blanking on his last name. Guardiola. Yeah. Who is running for school committee and ended up unopposed.
Yeah. That it's really cool that we had this lawsuit to address equity issues in the school committee elections and raise up marginal groups. And the marginal group that we have already raised, the first marginal group to be raised by this lawsuit, is the Chamber of Commerce. They now have a seat on the school committee.
Can you write in for school committee?
Oh, good question. Probably.
We should start a writing campaign for somebody.
We got to find somebody who couldn't stand up for a write-in campaign, and write-in campaigns are extremely difficult. I think the one in Holden earlier this year was the first time I've heard of one working in the state in recent years. I mean, granted, I may just not have heard of some of them, but like,
it's
difficult.
Which district is it, or which
District D.
D.
So that's in District 4, where we were hoping that some of the folks from running for council would switch over and go for school committee, but they didn't. District E, however, is going to have a very interesting fight because it's Kathy Roy versus somebody that I don't remember the name of.
John Reed.
Nelly Medina.
Yeah. Kathy Roy versus Nelly Medina.
So great.
That's a boxing match. That is just straight up a boxing match.
It's gonna be very interesting to see what happens when they seriously start campaigning.
Yeah, I'm gonna carry so much
like
Roy.
That fight is gonna end up being almost worse than the Stratman Attell fight.
Yeah, or the Rivera Attell fight. So
I meant last cycle, but yeah.
Oh, I know. Okay, I get what you mean.
Because Kathy Roy was Stratman's campaign manager.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. should King have announced for mayor by now? I don't think it's late. I really don't think it's too late to do that. I think if we see that. He's doing some announcement on the 21st, huh?
It can also just kind of happen accidentally as well, right? I mean, like you have to remove yourself from the list, and not add yourself to the list. So you could just be mayor. Like, doesn't even have to try.
They never have to commit. They have to commit. They have to take.
They have to uncommit.
Yeah.
By some date in September.
I'm curious. I'm interested to see what that's going to be like, because I don't foresee. What do we think of the angles on that? Because I don't think that King or Guillermo have a worse chance than Petty in a weird way, like just the way that depending on how trajectory goes, obviously institutional politicians are becoming slightly less popular, at least in Worcester.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It would be a great year for someone to try.
Right. And that's what I think, if two people are trying is where that becomes very
right.
But
it'd be nice
what do you mean if two people are trying? We've also got Coleman. Coleman keeps trying.
Right.
I feel really bad for him. I really wish he would just get on the city council one time. Like,
I would love to see him on the city council.
It's kind of sad, but he also doesn't spend any money nor anything else. He literally campaigns with nothing.
Only people that pay attention know about him, and most people don't pay attention. Yeah, it'd be interesting if he had a little money. What would happen there? But
it'd be awesome. Every time he went up to speak, he'd just be like, back in my day, I wasn't on the city council. And I haven't been on the city council for some 30 years. He's one of the, I don't know if anyone's ever talked to him before. We had him on the show once. He's one of the biggest back in my day guys of all time.
Yeah.
He loves to take you back to his day. Back in my day.
He was incredible on the show.
Yeah. Yeah. He had a nice sweater on, if I remember correctly. Oh, no, a nice tie. He had a nice tie.
Oh, yeah. You guys were talking about his tie.
Yeah, we talked about his tie for us. We chewed some minutes up on that tie.
I just want to show there's Shaun and his brother throwing out the pitch tonight.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah. On the Jumbotron, baby.
Baby, they got on the big screen.
That's what being in the inner circle gets you.
Yeah.
Did y'all see?
Oh my God. I look like the Grinch.
Did y'all see the Bravehearts sign explosion?
No.
Yeah,
there's an
explosion. Home run.
Yeah, the Bravehearts sign at the field that they show the scoreboard and stuff. It exploded and has a whole burnout section on it now.
Nice.
That's sick.
They have to replace the whole thing.
It's freaking burnouts down there. There's a council meeting.
To step up their game and explode.
Well, they raised Warside already, so they're.
We don't need them to explode any more than they already do every Friday night. Yeah. I should not be able to hear their fireworks from Newton Square. I shouldn't be able to. That's not okay.
I can hear them up here, up on the hill. It's driving down my property values.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna cost $80 million property values. There is a council meeting. It's starting at 7.
Yeah.
It drives me bonkers that the folks that are against the shelters are talking about property values going down from it, when Worcester has seen between 8 and 12% growth on property values for the past 4 years running.
Right.
That we have done nothing to earn.
Well, did you see what was it? Somebody said earlier, they had a quote from him earlier. The property, our property values might go up, but they're not going to go up as much as everyone else's.
Every time they just kind of retreat to thinner and thinner positions.
Yep.
And then eventually they'll just collapse into, I'm a veteran. I deserve this. God damn it.
That was that made me really sad.
Yeah,
And then we
I
get
heard.
the clip
Yeah.
at the end of the chair being like, I almost went over the table at him.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, he was like, "Catch me outside, bro! Catch me outside!"
And then
I was
they
told-
cut the audio.
Bill, I was told that was the guy that they were, high-fiving and like patting on the back when, like, literally the guy that the chair called the meeting over and was
Yeah.
like waving in police.
Telling
were,
he's
like,
gonna
they were patting him on the back on the way out the door. Like,
Yeah,
they're
okay,
giving
that
aid
tracks.
and comfort to our enemies.
Yeah. That
Social
tracks.
Potato, that's interesting. Where do you mind us asking what you do at Polar Park? Do you work at Nacho Man or do you work for Coney Island over there? I would love to know. And I'd love to know more about how it is working over there.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, that's cool.
Hell yeah.
It's a nice little bar in there, I gotta say.
Yeah.
I actually wish they would use it for stuff. I mean, obviously, music is out of the question, but they should just sell tickets like a club, like
I just hang
cover
out.
charge.
I mean, you just walk around in there.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you could just fill it with a couple thousand people
Yeah.
to hang out and smash beers. Like, you don't need to. I don't know. Like, I'm not really a baseball guy, so if I'm there, I'm not paying attention to that part, anyways. Just
you know what's fun though to do is just to walk into the park at night, like when it's closed down.
Yeah.
And then realize that you can do that, and then realize that a bunch of other people are doing the same thing.
Yeah. Everyone's just like, "Hey, we're in the park.
Hey,
What do you know?"
let's get a game going.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen, they did an amazing job constructing the interior. Yeah, I'm not the corrugated like whatever outside. It would have looked way better if it was brick, but whatever. What are you gonna do? It's a fun place to be. It's a nice place to hang out. You just have to divorce yourself from the context, and then, but which is not a bad thing to do necessarily. Like, enjoy yourself. It's it's a nice place to watch a game of baseball every once in a while. I like it. That's great. I'm very happy to hear that. Hi, Jess. Jess is home. Yeah, so there's no ethical consumption or capitalism. We all agree with that. If they're gonna build a thing and it's not gonna be great for the city, then at least it can be. It would be worse if it sucked. Let's put it that way. That's the way I think about it. It would be so much worse if it sucked. It could be better. It could be way better. They could let me play video games on the screen when they're not playing baseball games, but it could be worse too. Spooky? Are there ghosts? Yeah, that's the way I think about it. Like, I'm not gonna go there all the time, but if I'm gonna be there, then at least it is a fun. It's a fun version.
We're
of it.
even paying for the city council's name to be on one of those boxes.
That's true. That is true.
That is like we're even paying for that. Like,
right. And I should be able to go in there and use it. Build off the white. Yeah. I think that is like one of the smartest design decisions they made, is that when you're in there, you can't tell you're in Worcester. So I think that's that was smart on them.
I've never gone to a game there. We're going to be going to a game this year, I think, with some family. But the ticket prices are a lot, both more expensive and less expensive than I was expecting.
Yeah.
One of the books that I read when I was running my business was Pumpkin Plan by Mike Michalowicz. And in it, he goes over basically a case study of the Savannah Smiles minor league baseball team and all of the different things that they do to make sure that the game is fun and interesting and something that people come back to. And they went from almost shutting down because they didn't have enough money to being one of the most profitable in the league. And their ticket prices are less expensive than the ones here in Worcester, but then again, we also have the most expensive park in this in the league. But they don't seem to do much more than like, this day is about X, this day is about Y, like anything like that. They don't seem to have like games that happen in the middle of the game and stuff like that.
Right.
So
like,
it seems to me like we don't have much of a chance of them making the money back just from the ballpark being a ballpark. And I was looking to find out information on how to rent the space on the inside, and I couldn't find the information anywhere. Like, there was no listings of what the dimensions of different spaces, what the seating in different areas, like if I wanted to rent out the there's like supposedly like some indoor-ish room that you can have functions in.
Yeah.
And there was like no information on the capacity for that room. So
yeah, I don't.
Oh, Savannah Bananas, not Smiles.
Yeah. They're
rule.
They do a great job. They're actually they're playing a game at Polar Park this year.
They met with Peterman.
Oh, did they?
Has taken their model and applied it to the Bravehearts, which makes a more inviting experience for the family.
He talked to us a couple years ago about doing like some stuff, like when Savannah Bananas were first getting started. He already recognized that it was going to be like a bigger thing, and asked me and Shaun about getting hired by the team to do like stuff in the stands and things like that. And I was, I'm a little less hands-on. I don't like to mix it up with the plebes. So
Shaun would have kicked so much butt at that.
Oh yeah. It would have been super fun. We pursued it. If he ever wants to do it again, I think we'd go for it. But yeah, I think that's the. This is the line. That's the line. Great guy, friend of the show, friend of mine.
Potato, I've seen photos. I just couldn't find any pricing or capacity. Sorry,
no choking.
Rice tried to go down the wrong way.
Hey y'all, before we kick this thing off,
for dinner.
Make sure you follow us on Instagram. I got her.
Did he? Oh my god! Yeah, I mean that's not surprising, honestly. I think it's pretty safe to say that Dave is a Republican. I think we can put that out there. That's not, as much as that is an attack in Worcester politics. Nobody wants it to be known that they're Republicans. Yes. So it's important to know, I think. Get your info out there. I really feel like after last night's cameo that we saw during that meeting, I don't think Yenni has a chance. I think she's gonna get destroyed by that weird car lawyer. Yeah,
he seriously looks like a used car salesman.
Yeah. Looks like a used car. Skin was leather.
Unfortunately, System Nomad, Republicans have and do win here. That's how we have Donna Calorio.
Yeah, huge Republican.
We always got to have one.
Yep. And I think we probably technically have more. If we could really get to the heart of it, if we get to the people that weren't smart enough to hide it, I think that there's a few more on there.
I mean, we've also got people like Fiona was originally registered Republican, but that's because her family was registered Republican. So she stuck around as voted Republican until she changed it fairly recently when the whole Trump stuff went down, because she just never got around to changing it. So like there's some people that definitely are going to show up as Republican in the most recent grouping of candidates from stuff. I mean, I think Rivera is registered independent, but
definitely voted for Trump.
He definitely on the Republican side of things.
Love him getting love him getting the AFL-CIO like endorsement.
Yeah. Kara had a really good rundown. Yeah, it was Jose Rivera and Kate Toomey. In the newsletter that post today, Kara had a rundown of the AFL-CIO's endorsement process. There isn't any. It's literally just Joe Carlson decides who he wants to, throw his weight behind.
Really interesting that he decided to endorse Kate Toomey. Huh.
I wonder why.
I wonder where they talked about that.
It was also funny. Kate Toomey has gotten like not a whole lot of money from them, despite the amazing amount of water that she carries for the police unions. That was a nice point. Yeah. Also, Christian King got money from them up until 2020. What happened in 2020 that might have changed? That that analysis for a guy like Joe Carlson,
Funny.
Let's think. Yeah. Yep. But, he still shows up to all the rallies. He was there for the teachers. He talks about the power of labor and, he gets the crowd going, talks on the megaphone, and then he does absolutely jack shit in any functional way. So,
also, I do. Somebody was talking about Walter being quiet on Twitter. They did go to the Albanian festival both days as a campaign event. they went to both days of it. That is so like just nakedly desperate when you're running against Attell. It's so funny to me.
Oh my God. I'm going to throw this link in the private chat, but Walter posted the most amazing photo of his candidate at the Albanian festival. Like the least flattering shot I've ever seen of anybody. He's stuffing his face.
The one
his like mouth is half open and the fork is like in the side of his mouth, like it's tugging his whole mouth.
Like fucking crazy to post that photo. Like
you are
asking for us to Photoshop it.
Yeah, I mean, like, oh my God, the Photoshop possibilities here. Not to get crude about it, but there's major potential here. Should someone want to do something?
Yeah.
Should there be something in the place of that fork?
Yeah. Should we promise to post any Photoshops that anybody makes and sends to us on our Instagram, tagging Walter Bird in each and every one of them?
It's a Worcester Council Theater 3000 Photoshop battle. It's on, you fucking nerds. Take me on.
Come and get them. Come and get them, everybody.
Oh my goodness, that would be amazing.
Come and get them. If you beat Travis, we'll send you a shirt.
I'm on Walter's Twitter right now. On 5/27/23, he posted, "Oh my God, holy crap!" So he's just killing it. He's
Rivera also posted on the canvassing. He posted a video about the fact that he took his son with him canvassing, and there was a man who he answered the door of that seemed unhinged and unwell. And he didn't really have time to sit down and talk with him, but he made time and he went into the guy's house with his son and spoke to him for a while and sat on the couch and ate his food. And I'm just like, do you have any brain cells? You do not go in people's houses when you are canvassing, especially with a child. Especially when the person you are describing as being unhinged. Like he said the word unhinged.
You know what he probably meant?
Why would you take your child in that person's house?
That's probably the best snacks.
Yeah, the guy probably just said, "I believe in racial justice," and Jose was like, "Oh, this guy's unhinged." The guy was like, trans people are are valuable to me. And the guy's like, this guy, oh my God, this person's out of their mind. I better get in here and figure this out.
The funny thing is, Rivera considers himself an ally, even though he's not.
No.
He considers himself an ally.
When did he say that?
He has literally told me that he is in support of LGBT rights, but we have to let our kids be kids. I'm like, okay, yes, yeah. By giving them the things that they need to be their actual gender. How about we let them be kids as themselves? And he's just like, no, we can't do that. We need to let them be kids. So let them be miserable and kill themselves. Gotcha.
I wonder how I know like most people argue in bad faith. I wonder how many people that say things like that, like just don't realize that like when kids transition, it's socially transitioning. Like it's almost never taken beyond.
No,
that.
It's always for him. It's always whenever the topic has come up on Nextdoor and Facebook, anywhere the comments have happened. Because I go back and forth with him occasionally on it because I enjoy messing with people, and it has always gone to hormones.
It's so crazy. Like,
immediately jump to hormones.
Just say nothing of the fact that like that's a decision between a family and a doctor and all of that, but like like at least get stats on your side before you start, but I'm not saying anything that nobody here doesn't know. This is all obvious to everybody here, but just strange, very went to is that Memorial Day cookouts, so this stuff starts to come towards you and you realize like, oh, maybe I am in a bubble.
right So do we have a city council feed? Did they start yet? Are we going? Are we cooking?
I don't see one on their Facebook page yet.
No, not yet.
I saw a comment about how it's a dawn night, so I thought I might have got going. City council.
Oh, Jack, yes, I did see that tweet. That was hilarious.
Just in case anybody's wondering which photo we're talking about.
There it is.
Just like
already with the background crop, Travis. I love what you're doing.
Why would you have
I love the hustle.
All the way? What is he consuming that his fork is over here?
It's like a I think you should leave bit. The food goes in the side of the mouth. Everyone knows this. I'm not the weird one. The food goes in the side of the mouth.
Everybody watch season 3 yet?
I did. It was great.
It's fucking great. Gotta love that show.
Season 3 of
I think you should leave on Netflix.
I
Tim
didn't
Robinson.
realize it was a show.
It's so funny. It's one of the best ever.
Really is incredible how just completely it's taken over the comedy zeitgeist.
Yeah, I mean it's utterly. Just so weird. I on the High Command tour, Travis, do you have that bumper sticker? Can you throw it up that I asked you to make? We were going on a little, score around. I'm fucked. Score around. As we were saying that the entire tour, and it was like just kind of riffing off of the Tim Robinson thing. No, I don't know how to drive. So funny.
That just
I ordered
iconic.
A bunch of those bumper stickers. Those will be going online soon. Score around.
Yeah, so I mean, as we wait, I think we've covered the agenda. Unless anybody in the chat has any other agenda stuff that they can point out that might be of interest.
They all have an agenda. That's why they're here.
Hey, this fucking guy gets it.
There is one thing that Wolfpaw is, and I'll get the link to this, but Wolfpaw is currently stuck in Oklahoma. They broke their kneecap, so they missed their flight home because they weren't allowed to fly. They've been approved for flying now, but the ticket that originally was purchased to get them home is non-refundable, non-changeable, so they have to get a new flight ticket. So there's a GoFundMe up for that, and I'll grab the link for that.
Yeah, let's throw it up there.
They they need to get back up here, otherwise they might lose state benefits stuff and all sorts of other stuff, and yeah, not pleasant.
Yeah, let's see if we can get Wolfpaw a little support.
Yeah.
We love them.
I don't personally see the eviction. Oh, Jesus Christ! The eviction stuff on this agenda.
Anybody got a number for that?
No, I don't think it's here. I think that, yeah, unless I'm on the wrong agenda. June 6th? No, yeah. Well, we'll see. What else we got? I didn't look through all these petitions too closely, besides Wayne Griffin's amazing petition about getting rid of it. I really hope he comes to speak on that. That'd be awesome.
Just drop the link in chat.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah, get Wolfpaw back here, everybody. We need them back in the
Can't
gallery.
scream at the mayor from Oklahoma.
Exactly. Or, hey, can we start another GoFundMe to send Joe Petty to Oklahoma? Just a thought.
Buy Joe Petty a new house somewhere else.
Sounds like he has no interest in being at high school graduation. So
that's cool.
We had word that he.
Hey, listen, you fuckers don't vote for me for state senate. I'm not going to a single event ever again. You people are dead to me.
Oh, that's it. That actually does bring up, but I think somebody mentioned it before. I was thinking about when we were talking about Calorio. Calorio, first of all, has a shitload of money right now.
Yeah, I saw that.
30 grand. I wonder how much of it is her money.
Right.
And I wonder.
I can answer that for you, but not at the moment.
Well, that can be.
It wasn't a lot. She didn't have a lot of self donations.
30 grand. I'd love to know.
Yenni, do you remember offhand where that money's coming from?
I mean, I can pull it up.
That's just like if there was any like specific source for that. That's kind of crazy.
Has she had that much money before?
Yes, a lot of it is carryover. She hasn't done much in the way of fundraising this year as of mid last month, but I don't know what she's done since. I was gonna update it once all of the bank reports were in for this month, and I think those just came in, or two just came in yesterday. So I'm gonna go through and see what updates need to be made to the spreadsheet and stuff that I got.
Yeah, I'm on.
I put together for Bill, but
right now, taking a little look.
Yeah, she tends to.
There's
she tends to get influxes.
There wasn't a lot of self-donated.
She tends to get influxes from both the state committee and as well as national donors, because anyone running as a Republican that's considered viable on the national level or in Massachusetts is considered important on a national level. They usually there'll be small bumps that come in from out of state and statewide for her. Mm-hmm. They usually pick up the tab for all of her mailings as well.
Right. Yeah. Spell Worcester wrong.
And Milford, I think Milford or Medford. One of those, the Republican city committee for that area tends to spend a lot of money in Worcester, and it's very weird.
Oh, Marlboro.
Was it Marlboro?
I think
the Marlboro Republican City Committee has a weird influence in Worcester.
I thought it was a shorter M name, but I could be wrong.
I mean, there could be.
Really, just depends how you spell Marlboro.
Well, Malden is shorter than Marlboro.
Oh, Colleen West gave $25.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
This is just like the quickest shortcut to like find the shittiest people in Worcester. Judy Polito gave $200. Anthony Polito gave $25. Maria Papas $50. Well,
yeah, OCPF is a wild ride. It is so fun looking through there. My next goal is to see, is to create a combination of who has donated to which candidates. and to see like all of the like people that have donated to weird combinations and stuff like that, because it seems that
Oh my
it
God.
seems like there's some really interesting ones. Comment from YouTube that the Twitter or Twitch folks aren't probably going to see is, what's Colleen West's deal? Is she notable? She's pretty much on an even level with Wayne Griffin in terms of online and in person, just being a cranky Karen. I think she may eclipse the term Karen, actually. I'm not
We have to start
entirely
calling it
sure.
Colleen. Yeah, Colleen is an Uber Karen.
Yeah, she's fun.
Bill, what were you saying? Oh my God, too.
I checked the expenditures for Donna Colorio's most recent filing, and she contracted graphic artist design work through Fiverr twice. Like that, and that's just so fun.
Hell yeah.
I need some. Yeah, I need a flyer done. I'm gonna go on Fiverr. You don't know a graphic artist?
She paid TaskRabbit to
exactly.
put
Yeah,
up her lawn signs.
that's so good.
I mean, I used Fiverr for one thing because I needed to translate something quickly, and it was like the middle of the night, and I didn't know who to contact. So I spent $3 and had it translated through Fiverr in about 20 minutes.
Oh no, that's what it's for.
Like,
that's great for you to use. Like
making flyer, no, as a campaign expense.
No, I know, but I'm saying for something like
but
that.
Like making a flyer, what?
Yeah,
yeah, it's pretty sick.
That's so wild. I love that.
Oh, CPAP's awesome. Just snooping around.
Unfortunately, the school committee doesn't have to report anything like that. They have to report to the city at the end of the cycle, at the end of the election season.
That's crazy.
So you can't really look into that at all.
And as far as I could tell, there was no way to get the past information either. I think like a FOIA would pull it, but it's not a like requestable thing.
I think there might be one filing like a week before the election, but I'm not sure about that. Yeah, a lot of this money for Donna Colorio seems kind of like hoarded. She spent some money in December of 2022. $5,000 then. It was kind of weird.
Russell?
Oh no.
Here. Mary Petty's absent, and Madam Vice Chair Caloria.
Speaking of which.
The minutes of May 9th, 2023.
This is going to take forever because she doesn't know how to run a meeting.
Okay, next item is public participation. Anybody can speak up to 2 minutes. State your name and city of residence, please, and the item that you're speaking on. Thank you.
Yes, my name is Maureen Urisi. My address is 1382 Main Street in Worcester. And I am here about the proposed siting of a new pole, electric pole, which appears to be in the middle of my driveway. And it's being put up by both National Grid and Verizon. There should be representatives there.
I'm just checking to see if we have anybody on the line. Just hold on a moment.
Madam Chair, let me try to identify them. If you're from National Grid, can you please identify? Okay, I have Wolf Fontaine, I think.
It appears to be in the middle.
Oh my goodness.
It's so funny.
Do we have a response to that question, please?
Can you hear me?
We can.
Yep. We're putting it in the middle of the driveway. Sorry.
Actually, on the map that
Sorry, lady.
they sent me, they have pole 1, which actually is not located on my property. It's located on the property of 1378 Main Street. The proposed pole sits directly in the middle of my driveway. My property fronts on Main Street, but the back and the driveway and the garage are on Apricot Street, and the access to the garage comes in at an angle from Apricot Street.
I know this house.
Sorry, you can't put a pole in the middle of my driveway. I've lived at the property for 73 years. And my family's been there for 90 something. And I have a garage. Putting a pole next to that would destroy the garage. I just want to know what they're going to do. I'm not opposed to having the pole moved to where it's safe.
Just not the middle of
Yes,
the
if,
driveway.
if I can answer, I'm sure that the petition sketches that are sent out to the abutters and to the city council, they are not to scale. It's really just
They don't have to
for,
send out the
you know,
actual
approximate location.
schematics.
So when they are
They
actually
aren't
going
accurate
to
in any
put
way.
Oh my
the
god.
I can promise you they would not put it directly in the middle of somebody's driveway. It would most likely be off to the side. And
It's not
I can
reassuring.
ensure that by putting notes in the job to make sure that that does not happen.
I would like to meet with folks from National Grid and from Verizon, since it's going to be a jointly operated pole, in terms of where exactly they intend to put it. And it also stipulates that they're going to do underground wiring, which cannot be done on my property because of where my gas conduit comes in from Apricot Street and my power comes in from the other side of the house, and you can't mix the two.
So Maureen, what I can do is I can hold this item so then they can come out to your property and meet with you. And that way they can resolve it prior to moving forward with this item.
Okay, and how will I know when they're coming?
They will, Nico, how will they know?
Nico, help.
Help.
Nico, help. Can an adult in the room answer this question?
Through chair to the residents, so if you would like to leave your information with me, we can get you in touch with National Grid tomorrow morning.
Daddy,
Okay.
how does the National
And
Grid
you can
people get in
provide
touch
the
with the
information.
resident?
Come right over.
Right over there.
She hasn't
Okay. so-
witnessed
Okay.
this occur
I'm gonna hold
multiple
that item, which
times
is
where they've
7C.
asked the contact information be
Okay.
given to Nico. Like
Yeah.
every single time
Yeah,
there's a complaint
make a
against one of these
suggestion
poles
on
or
these
sites.
Things, the utility companies really need to be here. Like they
Oh my
were
God, dude.
in the past. Thank you, Council, for reminding me to stand.
I rise to be
They really need
obnoxious.
to be here. And
George
this has
Seption.
happened
George
too many
Seption.
times lately.
George Seption, let's go. George Seption.
You know,
It's
there's
not that they're
no
not
reason
here, they're
why,
online.
and for
They are
someone to
literally
say
here.
that they're
He
giving
just
us a plan
spoke.
that's not accurate. That's
He
really kind of
just
scary.
spoke about it.
So it's a suggestion to the administration and to the chair.
I mean, the fact that
Make a
it's not
motion
an
to have
accurate
them
map, like
here at
that
the
it's
meeting.
not an
you,
actual
Mr.
diagram
Councilor
of the
Russell.
install,
Yes.
really,
Hi, my
really
name is Frank
concerns me
Callahan,
because
and
that
I live
means
at
so
53
many
Elm
different
Street
things
in
could be
Worcester.
going wrong
I am
with
speaking
all
today
of those
on item
submissions.
12I on the council agenda pertaining
They're
to
all
a history
wrong.
marker for Jacob Stroyer. Jacob Stroyer is a significant figure in African-American history through his memoir, My Life in the South, which is a first-person account of his life as an enslaved person in the antebellum South. Jacob Stroyer was born in the Kensington Plantation in Eastover, South Carolina, and his portrait appears on plaques both at Fort Sumter and at Fort Moultrie because he was there while the Union forces were bombing those forts towards the end of the American Civil War. After the conflict, Stroyer came to Worcester
right
and attended
there?
Worcester Academy in order to train for the ministry. In addition, he married a member of the Hampton family who still reside here in Worcester. An historic marker depicting his life would be a fitting tribute. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, your name and city of residence, please.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Michael Wusu, City Worcester, residence 10 Merrifield, Worcester. The reason why I'm here is regarding item 16L, is regarding parking, handicap parking placed large enough for 2 vehicles in front of my building. So I'm the owner of that building. The reason why I'm here is, and first things first, I really want to make this clear. I'm not against handicap parking at all, right? I think, if people
good
deserve
start,
it, they
dude.
deserve it and should be there. But the reason why I'm here is this
I'm against
handicap parking is being levied on in front of my building when there's already 2 handicap parking provided across the street. So the person who's bringing this forward, Benedette Fordette, is saying that she needs more handicap parking when there's already handicap parking in front of her building. Mind you, she is a tenant of a building across the street from 10 Merrifield in the building of 9 Merrifield. And she's already gotten parking approved in front of her building, but also got approved for handicap parking in front of the building next door to her as well. So there's already
So is she basically just trying to make it so that people can't park there because she doesn't want to see cars?
That sounds like the scheme, honestly.
Her, I guess, her and her partner or.
Oh, it felt so good to get the first handicap parking
roommate.
spot.
I don't know how to go about that, but the reason why I'm here.
Let's see how far we can push this.
If you guys would.
I've never heard this many things come up for like this small little usually yes checkbox items. I don't think we've seen 2 in a meeting in a while.
She's already had enough handicap parking on that street in 10 Merrifield where there's only 2 handicap parkings on that entire street.
So let me just clarify. You're the landlord.
Correct.
Okay, so this was in my committee and we had spoke about it in length. So it's coming back to the full committee. I can hold this item and recommit it and have another discussion in parking and traffic once again.
Okay.
But I would encourage you to make sure that I would believe if you're the landlord, you were on the list.
I wasn't made
notified?
aware. Yeah, I wasn't made aware of
Okay,
this.
so
I'm just finding this out. So now I kind of just
so why don't you make sure that you leave your name with the clerk?
The city is really shit at making sure that people get the proper notice to anything.
I will. So on that item, we will
so bad. When the shelter went in diagonal to my property 7 years ago, 8 years ago, something like that.
Okay.
I got
So
no notice whatsoever. I found out from the neighbor next door to them, who's a Karen, who was bitching and moaning at a neighborhood meeting about people parking in front of her house, even though she doesn't park in front of the house on June Street. She parks in her driveway.
10 years, and I do.
Well, this is the other side.
Years ago.
This is the other side of this
a
argument.
handicap spot in front of my home, but his residency resides with.
God, this is like Jerry Springer, dude.
Plaques, which last time we were here for a long one, I was approved for a single with his tenant that agrees she wants it in front of her house, in front of 10, a single, not a large capacity. And that's what the agreement we were all in the day I left here with his tenant, my friend. So I don't know where he's getting this from. She's the one that came here with me and wants a handicap spot put in front of 10, only a single.
Jerry.
Only one. And we were granted that. So I don't know why we're here again for a lodge. No one did that.
What?
Because after we discuss it in parking and traffic, it comes back to the full committee.
Oh, okay.
And if we do try to listen.
God, can you imagine the meeting where this was discussed at length? Holy shit.
New person.
Holy
was
shit,
not
dude.
notified, so I feel it's only
If I
fair
remember
to
correctly,
hold
the most
item
recent
and see
traffic
if
and
we can
parking
come up with some
committee
kind of
meeting,
amendment
I
to
saw a
that.
tweet
But he knew
afterward from
about this
Attell
way
at like
back
11
then. His
o'clock,
tenant,
just got
Martha,
home.
Told him about it.
Didn't get to kiss
That
my
she
kids
wanted
goodnight,
parking in
but
front
I
of
got to do
10, which is her
committee things.
residency.
So I
Nothing to do
think it was
with
a
me.
really
But
long
what's
meeting.
happening is because which I said here, she holds
I have
4
heard from
handicap
people that
plaques
Donna
for
Colorio
herself.
uses her
And
chairmanship
she
of that committee like
Yeah.
a
I
fucking
vaguely
cudgel,
remember this.
like a hammer to
which
just
I know
to
is
just
mine after all these
grind her
years.
colleagues into the dirt.
She's parking in my
How long can I
spot,
keep you here?
also my spot, in front of 9, which is mine I had for over 10 years. And then you got her daughter parking there, her husband parking there. I do have pictures from the Worcester Police Department where my vehicle from the other tenants are being hit. He told me to call.
It's not supposed to go back and forth.
I just don't want no trouble. But they're taking his tenants.
People that say they don't want
Martha,
trouble
who has all these
typically want
vehicles,
trouble.
Usually looking for trouble.
that
Reliably
her
want trouble.
and park in front of her house, that she's taking up all these spots, and in front of my house she's taking them all up.
Bernadette,
not my fault.
what
This
we're
is
gonna
the
do
executive
at
body
this
of the
moment,
second biggest city
we're
in
gonna
New
hold
England.
this item.
And
Marco's loving this.
Try to see if we can
We are
come back to parking
litigating
and
a
traffic
parking spot
and see if we
dispute.
can
No,
come
you're
up
not
with a,
holding the item. You're
Yeah.
sending it back to
solution.
committee.
Okay.
Use the right
Remember here
words.
when we were here last
I
year,
know- I
was happy
remember.
with just on her house is single.
Okay, I'm gonna hold
Sorry,
the item,
Bill.
so I'm gonna bring it back. And we'll have
Holy
another
shit.
discussion on this.
I know it's not mine's, ma'am, but I have a son
You
that's
can just send
autistic
it
and I'm
back
disabled.
to the
So
I
I
understand.
committee.
can't find nowhere to go if they continue to take up the spots, her family, her friend, whoever, they just keep parking. in front
Look at
of
this
the
guy on the
building.
left here.
That's why she agreed to 10.
I've
so
never
her
seen a more
husband would
not
have a
listening
spot
guy in
on
my
the
life.
10, she said.
That is a
We were
zoned
there
out
Marco,
gentleman.
Marco is like,
Right.
how many
I can't
times
make
can
my
I
son
adjust
in
position to keep
unattended
myself awake during
outside.
this?
Out in the middle of on my sidewalk and say, stay here and let me go find a different spot because his tenants that have 4 plaques with a bus that are holding up all these parking areas and hope I come back, my kid's not in the middle of the road.
Okay, so I'm gonna hold the item. We're gonna have
Oh
another
my God.
discussion on it, and then
Oh
we'll
my
try
God.
to have a resolution.
Oh,
Okay,
You know,
I'm
it's
sorry
going to be
it
on
had
the
come up
agenda
again
next
tonight,
week.
but
You're going to
trying
put this
to come
back on
up
the
with
agenda
something. I
next
know
week,
it's just-
Donna.
it's just-
Come on.
She
We're gonna
needs
do
to
this
use the
again
right
next week.
words.
So-
I know one of the guys the other day, the meeting, they zoomed in my house and they specifically said it's only for 1 car.
All right.
But 5
God.
parks down below, which anyone can park
Lurie's
behind
dome,
her,
dude.
and they know this.
It's just,
Oh
there
my
is just a
God,
dome
Donna,
over the city.
please.
I don't know what more to do to keep the peace with everybody and be friendly.
Donna,
but
you
when
can
I
make her stop
petitioned 10
talking.
years ago for my spot.
You can.
Okay, so we're gonna hold the item, and thank you for coming again tonight.
Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else that wants to speak?
Vote Calorio for mayor.
Adele?
Idella Hazard, City of Worcester, 21I. I think it's very important that this be passed, that Jacob Stroyer, his history post-Civil War and coming to the City of Worcester, going to Worcester Academy, should be put on the Black History.
There is no 21I.
Our history is pretty
There's
rich.
20, and that's it.
It's 21.
Hasn't been,
L maybe is what she means.
spotlighted.
She just say it.
No, there's no
Worcester,
21.
the way it
20 is
should.
business under suspension. It's the last item.
And we keep finding out more and more just how rich it really is. And we keep adding to it because we keep learning.
Can we get
And it's
a
very
judgment call on
important to the
Adela's
city
fashion choices
and to the
tonight? The
people
floral
of Worcester.
patterns
All
clash,
the
or is this
people of
acceptable?
It's loud. I would say it's
And
loud.
I think
I'm going to say
that
not a
it's
fit.
It's a choice.
that
I think
Worcester
the popped
Academy
collar is what bugs me the
we
most.
had a gentleman here that used to be part of the.
This is the
faculty
kind of not a
faculty
fit
of Worcester
that
Academy.
like
Speak on
Kanye
that.
West would do like 5 years
So,
from now.
I say, please.
It
let's
supports
do
my
this.
theory that Worcester is such a fashion
Thank you.
negative city that it's actually on the vanguard. Like we're so apathetic to and behind fashion trends
Chris
that
Horton
we
from Worcester.
are actually out in
And
front of everything.
I'd like to say
We're going
that
to see
at the
M. Radajowski
City
wearing Adela's
Council
fit
meeting
in 3
I
years.
can't remember whether it was the last one or the one before where the issue of the use of constables from outside Worcester who weren't licensed in Worcester was discussed. I was very touched by the sense that everyone on this council was concerned about the safety and the rights of the people of Worcester, and the way that it was the discussion was handled in a dignified and supportive way. And I introduced a
social potato. That's the
petition on
idea.
this issue, which unfortunately I don't have in front of me.
But you know, fashion is cyclical. So
was
by nature of
referred by
getting
the
lapped,
city clerk's
you can
office
sort of claim ownership
to the solicitor's office,
being ahead.
and apparently came back.
Worcester's
to
just
so
moving
far
into the
that it
mid
was not
90s now,
something
so we seem
that
like
the city
we've been on
council
point for over a
could
decade.
Right.
vote on.
That's what I'm
So
saying.
it
So I
wasn't
should take my trip
accepted to
pants
be
back out.
put in front
You
of
should
the
actually. Have you
And
seen
I
an
would just
e-girl
like to
lately?
propose
I
that when something like this happens,
so I was going to
that
something
instead of
downtown. I
the
was sitting in
solicitor
the
coming back
and
with what I'm
I
sure
literally had
was
flashbacks to high school
well
with the
thought
group
out
of people that walked past
position,
me
but just
that were
coming back as a
probably high
veto
school age.
that
I'm really crummy
these
at
things come
judging
back
how old
as
people are.
the
But
opening of a
I
discussion.
was in shock at how
How do we
identical it
word
was.
this so
It was
that
like
it meets
there were
the
dresses
standards of
that
what
I
it's legal for
literally
this council
bought
to
from
vote on?
Limited 2 and wore into
I'm
high
sure
school.
that
Like
these issues will be
companies that don't exist anymore, and it's carbon copies of the clothing.
Yeah.
I have a lot of
It's
trust in this
so
council
weird.
for
That's how it
handling
works.
this issue well. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker. Is your name
I
and
wish
state
I
your
still had
residence?
my trip pants. Those were expensive.
Hi.
Oh, thank God. We all heard it.
No.
The voice is back.
Grace
Joe's back in
Ross,
the building.
Worcester, 10 Oxford Street. Yeah, so I'm also speaking on, I think it's 18A. It's a little hard to tell from how this is described.
Sad
but,
that we're happy that it's him.
You know, we all appreciate having a First Amendment right to petition our government, and it was disappointing to not be allowed to petition you guys yet. We will obviously come back with that petition. But the number of evictions in Massachusetts, the physical part of the move out, was up 50% last year. And then by this spring, it was up 75% to that 50%. So this is a very serious situation. We are seeing an awful lot of attempts to physically evict people. And Worcester keeps a decent constable list. And I get asked about whether there have been issues with Worcester constables. The answer is yes, there have. And guess what? The process worked. We went to the chief and we said, there's been this problem or there's been this problem. And he's handled it. That's exactly why we want you guys in control of this process, because there's local accountability for what happens locally. When we came to ask for, kind of urgent action on May 9th, it's because we knew there was another eviction scheduled on May 11th. Another person was assaulted by an outside constable, one that you guys didn't choose, that you guys don't have a direct line to have a conversation with. We have no way to bring those problems in front of you and get action if they're going to be allowed against all of the statutes and case law. I found a decision from 1895 that says it's been the law of the Commonwealth for 200 years at that point. So 1695, I think it's pretty settled. Everybody who serves process, whether they're allowed to carry a gun to do that, or if it's just to hand somebody a document, has to tell whether the order they're being given is legal and whether it's legal for them, at least on the face of it. And so I went and looked, what are the orders that come from?
Oh, I am the constable.
They say they can only go to sheriffs and constables.
I've come to take you from your home.
Badge,
Oh, you ain't paying no
people
rent.
Think, oh, this is a Worcester constable. They have authority here, right? I assume.
I'm
until
Jack
I
the
learned
Ripper.
laws, until we found out we couldn't reach these guys when they assaulted us. We had no way to get to the chief and get it fixed.
What's always saying? You sit in your home.
He's assuming, oh, this guy's a constable here. He's got a license. He's carrying handcuffs, maybe a gun. And people get
Constable
scared.
is separate
They leave
from
their
the
home because
police
they think it's
office.
serious. When it's
Police
actually,
officers
as far as
can
we
be
tell,
constables, though,
impersonating
as
an
far as I'm
officer.
aware.
It's what the statute says. So
Constables in some
I'm
weird
just
gray
trying to be
area
a
like the
concerned
sheriff.
citizen and care about my
Like, what is that?
neighbors and my
This is really
city
just
and my
another one of
safety,
those
like all of
youngest
you do.
country
And I
with
think
the oldest
everybody in our
constitution
city
problems.
government
Like this
needs
state is just
to
full of
pretend they share that
nonsense
value.
ordinances and
I know all
laws
of
that
you do. We
predate
just want a
reality
solution that makes
and
everybody in
logic.
Worcester safe.
Right.
That's all we're asking for.
Yeah, but I think
drinking on
she was saying
weekends.
that
Keep each other safe.
I think she
There's
was saying
no
that it
more
was something
safety
that
than being
should
safe in
be
your home. And I
based
think,
on this
maybe women are a little more
1895
sensitive to that
law
'cause of
that had
battering, but we
200 years of
know
history.
how the
Yeah,
Like,
nothing should be
that
based
still
on a
should be
200-year
All we're asking is
history.
to
Like
work
your
together.
just like your fashion shouldn't be based on 200-year-old history. Like
I
this-
agree, but
Seeing
she
nobody
was
else?
using it in support of
your name,
making
your
it that the constables were the only ones that had the right to do it.
right. I'm just making a mockery of the entire process.
But
Yeah.
true.
I didn't
Oh.
receive any paperwork. I was only told verbally to come in tonight. I applied for handicap parking.
Oh my God.
Is it on the agenda tonight or?
That's what they told me.
On
yes.
9H? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I just wanted to say that I have difficulties walking.
Oh my God.
It's very rough terrain there at 50 Vernon Street.
You don't have to. Don't.
Parking over on.
He's just not aware what the
83
process
Richland.
is. He was
Yeah.
basically just
Across the
told to
street
come
from
in.
That is 76.
You don't have to plead your case for handicap parking.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude. Someone should have told him that.
I feel like
take away
someone
from
needed
parking,
to
from where I
spend a
park on
moment
it
and
at
explain the
83.
process to him.
Yeah.
There's
You don't
some
have to
parking problems on,
go in front of the
Worcester
cameras and
Street.
talk about your disability to get
I come
handicap
home
parking.
a lot and there's no parking at all.
God damn it.
Then there's the school on Richland Street, and I heard that was up for today too. So it's gonna. I'm not sure what's gonna happen, but
We'll send that to traffic. Don Coro is the chair of traffic and parking. We'll send that to you for a hearing.
Male
And
Donna
you'll be notified by
Colorio
letter
is
to
back in
attend
the
that.
chair.
And
I'm
the clerk will
liking
make
the
sure you
get down,
notified.
Mr. President thing that he's doing.
Thank you, Scott.
Did y'all play that game?
Okay.
Where you pounce all your.
What's that?
It was a thing from when I was in like high school, college, and like
gonna
people
ask that.
would in a group of friends, someone would do this and then someone else would do this. It was like nose goes, but like the horrible version of it.
Raising their hands.
Where if
Victor
you were the
Fields,
last
try to mute
person
the
to put
resident
your
now.
fingers up like this, the rest of the group who already did do this got a chance to go get down, Mr. President, and tackle you.
Whoa, that's a crazy game.
Hello.
Describing that game makes it sound a lot weirder than it felt like it was
my
back
name
then.
is Victor
Yeah.
Fields.
It's just
And
a
I
fun
wanna
little
thank you for the
assassination
opportunity
game.
to speak in support of
No
agenda
Wayne. We
item
haven't heard from
12I.
Wayne, unfortunately. I'm waiting for
It's been
Wayne.
over 50 years since I've lived in Worcester. I grew up on the west side and attended Oxford Street School. From there, I went on to Worcester
Dude, this
Academy
guy's little picture is
and
fucking
Bowdoin
awesome.
College.
He looks sick
My
as
wife,
hell.
Regina, and I currently reside in Northern California. And I am
This is the
owner
top
of
tier
Regina
Zoom photo.
Records. My classmate, fellow Hall of Famer and retired Academy historian Frank Callahan explained why Mr. Stroyer is a perfect candidate for a marker on the Worcester Black History Trail. I'd like to direct my remarks to the collaborative aspect.
I was trying
of
to
the
figure out
agenda
what he was
item.
talking about because I
When
was
asked by Mr. Thomas Doughton
yeah.
if the
Anecdote.
Academy
It's also
would
like
be interested in working with the city,
a very large
I
collar
emailed
on some
David
sort of corduroy
Schmidt,
jacket.
the president of Worcester
Like,
Academy's Board of Trustees, and received the following reply. Quote, please know the board will certainly help with this wonderful project you are working on relating to the Worcester.
Dude, this guy
Black
should do
History Trail.
ambient videos to put people to sleep with his voice.
On or near the
This is a
campus
calming tone.
would be very nice indeed. End of quote. In some sense, the collaborative
To go
effort
to sleep would be very nice indeed.
in the last 3 months, Councilor King and I, with the assistance of Maria Bacuzzi and Erica Cawley, have had several Zoom calls to understand the process. During one such Zoom call, Bob Antonelli of Parks and Recreation provided insight into the production schedules and the manufacture process of the installed markers. Yesterday, I spoke with Mr. Shamoyan and the Academy's head of school, Kevin Breen. They could not join us tonight, but asked me to convey to the council and to the city manager that they remain excited and committed to collaborating with the city, as am I. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak before you. It has truly been an honor.
Sick.
Thank you. Anybody else?
It has truly
That's
been
the
an honor.
only residents that raise their hand. If you're online, raise your hand or press *9 if you're on the phone.
Thank you. So I'm told we're going to take a motion to go back into the budget. We'll come back to regular session after we finish the budget.
Fuck.
There Seriously?
Several items have been held. 13A, 10.3A, 7C, and 16L. Councilor King has held 13A. Corio has held 10.3A, 7C, and 16L.
7C, he said, or 17?
Could you repeat that again? Which items? Sorry, I don't know why I'm so loud.
Which items? 13A, 10.3A, 7C, and 16L.
16L is the parking spot. Jerry Springer show.
Roll call.
Yep. Donna held that. Galaxy Brain Genius Donna Colorio held that.
Councilor Bergman?
Yes.
Councilor Calorio?
Yes.
Councilor Gia?
Yes.
Councilor King?
Yes.
Councilor Merrill Carlson? Councilor Nian? Councilor Rivera?
Yes.
Councilor Rose? Councilor Russell?
What's 10.3A?
Yes.
And Mayor
Let's
Petty.
figure that out.
Yes. Okay, we are back in the budget session, finance. And we will, Mr. Homer's on his way here. So let's go to number 10, administration and finance. 10A, B, and C. Mr. McGurthy, you're up.
We should get a Truckzilla.
And you know what items they're on the
Social Potato wanted a robot that eats any car that parks on the sidewalk. I think Truckzilla would more than.
Yeah, you're right.
Chairman,
You're right.
did you say administration and finance is next?
Yes.
Administration and finance.
As mentioned, the next
All right.
department is administration and finance.
Let's coordinate.
Administration and
Let's
finance
triangulate this.
6 different.
That's
divisions
10A,
or segments
and then
within,
after that, there's 10B,
administration and
10C.
finance as
Debt
a
service
general
principal and
department
interest.
is
10C is
mainly the
pension
budget
obligation
office.
bonds. Riveting
About
topic.
11% increase, which
11A,
results mainly
financial
from grant
integrity
funding,
plan funds.
decreases as well as regrades and COLAs. The assessing
12A is the line item budget. So we might see them make any of the line item cuts that they are legally allowed to make tonight. They don't have very many items to get to before that. That's sort of the process. It's like you can 12A. I'll throw the agenda in here, I guess. So we might be seeing them approve the budget tonight. I'm not sure if they are going to, but it's possible.
It makes sense why they would do it. They would go back to the, the
Yeah, I mean,
in the midst of the meeting, so they can, get a little.
If that's their plan, yeah, because these 4 things that they have left to do are this kind of stuff that like no one could possibly care about. At all. I mean, pension obligation bonds, like, oof, boy, that is a dry conversation.
Yeah.
Even if they care
financial,
about
it's probably not going to be long.
them.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't know anything about OPEB besides the fact that it exists. You know what else would be good is the Killdozer. We should get the Killdozer to Worcester.
Killdozer would be really
Yeah.
good.
I think that's a great use of municipal funds. If we make the world's only Killdozer museum, and it's literally just the Killdozer parked. I mean, hey, the Big D parking lot.
Yeah,
perfect.
Park the Killdozer there.
Killdozer night at the Worcester Red Sox.
Home of the Killdozer.
Huge, yeah. There's precedent for that. There's a producer in LA that bought the what's his face from Columbine, his car. What was his name? Eric Klebold.
Oh yeah.
Dylan Klebold.
Yeah, I think that's right.
He bought his car and still drives it around.
It's weird.
And like
what?
Yeah,
that's
like
crazy.
The license plate like says like Columbine on it. It's super fun.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That's awkward.
Yeah,
the mayor was apparently at a Worcester Tech's graduation.
Yeah. Somebody had mentioned that earlier. We had. I'm trying to pull up the finance.
We might as well just have it running because I mean, the interesting thing isn't going to be for a while, but like the only action that the council can really take is when they get to like the line item budget. They can vote to cut line items. Right. So there might be something interesting there. But I honestly haven't been hearing any sort of whispers of there being any sort of dramatic actions about the budget this year. I might be just wrong or out of the loop on that, but I don't know if anything's coming down the pike.
As far as I'm aware, the budget.
Yenni, have you heard anything?
Stayed fairly. I've basically heard that it's basically just a copy paste of last year with a few updates. Like it's not a huge change. There's some pretty decent changes in the school budget, but we've already gone through that section. That was last week, I think.
But one of the things the city has done, and the next topic we'll
But
talk about is
the
financial integrity
like the school
plan,
budget was the
is
only
by
one that had
building
any
certain
really
reserves,
major
mainly the new high
changes.
school reserve, has
As far
enabled
as
us
I'm
to
aware.
somewhat stabilize those
Everyone
deficits
else's
across
funding
the next
stayed
few
pretty
years.
much flat.
Right.
The only
new
reason the
high
school committee had more was
is
because the
not
state
anticipated
increased
at
stuff.
Burncoat High School.
Because
Burncoat
heaven
right
forbid
now is,
they get
I understand that the
increases
estimated
like the
cost,
police do.
because it includes Burncoat High and Burncoat Middle, is about a $500 million project.
Yeah, you can't have that.
If that's the case, half
When
of
I
that
used to be
cost
like
is
a,
on kind of,
I guess like a standard newspaper reporter, and I had to pull stories out of budget sessions like this, it was the worst time of the year. It sucks so bad. It's like there's nothing going on here.
Of debt service to our obligations. Should we go forward with a project?
I love to hear about debt service to obligation. That means so much to me.
Oh yeah,
It just means a whole lot. Yeah,
It includes the ballpark.
Oh yeah,
maybe.
A lot of debt service. A lot of debt service on the ballpark.
And
That
the
is true.
Doherty and South and are both on. I think
I know the school committee and the
they're still
council have
considered the
submitted
city's
that
debt
to the
service,
MSBA over the
even though
last
they're
5 years.
school
But we
specific.
know right now
I think they're still looped in the same
full
grouping.
cost of that as it
Check
is
my
right
Twitter
now
DMs, eh?
to the city budget.
So, Mr. Chairman, just to follow up.
Some debt servicing content in there.
Or even to the manager. Does this, so.
Oh, Killdozer podcast episode.
Wouldn't be in our.
Oh, I think I listened to a podcast about Killdozer.
Do Not Eats bonus episode 2. Killdozer.
I mean, objectively a bad guy, I think, or at least a wayward soul.
Well, you know what you have to do, Brian, is you have to separate the art from the artist.
That was exactly where I was going, Bill.
Oh, okay, cool.
We can all appreciate even some villains can create something pure and beautiful.
Yeah, right.
And that's how we have to live our lives. So
yeah,
I'm comfortable making the distinction between Killdozer and the Killdozer's monster.
Right. I won't have any rubes trying to bring me down for my love of the Killdozer.
Social Potato, we love you and we appreciate your insight and your point of view, but it is our position that the machine Killdozer is to be celebrated and separated from the artist.
Is, in an objective sense, sick as fuck. Very cool.
Yeah.
Also rad and awesome.
Yeah. Good.
I can't even remember that. I'll listen to this episode because I can't remember anything about
this is why
or the circumstances of Killdozer.
This is why I love our show. This is why I love the Commenters Union, is because we can have a reasonable discussion amongst different viewpoints and really come to an accord and all agree.
And
that
I have
Killdozer
no idea what
fucking
show you're
rips.
talking about.
The Killdozer.
It's important, Yenni, that you educate yourself. I think.
Right.
I watch K-dramas and people rebuilding their chateaus on YouTube.
For one would.
I think actually there's a decent Netflix
like in France.
Yep.
I realized that
I've learned a lot of really random things about like the way wallpaper's made and how to tell the age of a wallpaper and like what designs went with when. It has been like a really interesting amount of random knowledge I have gained from these chateaux.
I slather the paper mache in my chateau.
FBA.
Excusez-moi. Where do I take make the pants chocolate in the chateau? I need to make the pants the chocolate of the pants.
Chocolate of the pants.
Can you help me? Can you help me in making the chocolate?
I think it's pants de chocolat.
Pants de chocolat.
I know like I know like 6 different recipes for that, and I've seen it made a number of times.
No,
These
you
shows have so many
don't.
people
You don't
make
know
bread.
that. You don't know the recipes for pants chocolate. There's only one recipe for pants chocolate.
And it's weight.
Stick the chocolate in your pocket.
It's just wait. Just
I
wait.
don't know that they're working, Jack. What's George doing right now? Let's listen.
This handout that you gave us, ballpark district improvement.
We're on
financing.
the city's stream now, so no
The
closed
back page
captioning.
where you put a good title on it, the North Star. I mean, I thought that was Ed Augustus's trademark. You probably have to give him credit for that, but the North Star shows basically that we're on target and we're in good position. Is that correct? Through you, Mr. Chairman, to
For this year.
Mr. Manager?
Through the chair, that is correct. In the packet you have before you,
It can pay
on
its
the next
debts
item of
this
the financial
year.
integrity plan, I look forward to presenting and giving a full presentation of that Bar Park diff district, so that people can have a better understanding.
Exactly,
of where
Tara.
the revenues come from, how those monies are going out, and what our projections look like. But currently, right now, the Bar Park is paying for itself.
That comes up in the next, probably 11A.
So we're not able to talk on it now?
We can talk. But
You want to take them collectively, or?
Yeah, I guess so. But that doesn't hurt 11A. But yeah, no. You want to do a
I think it would benefit
to
do the presentation.
If you want, I'll continue that conversation when we do this.
Yeah, let's continue it. We'll go to you when we get to that.
Okay, that's fine.
You all set, number 10? Council Russell?
Yes, thank you.
So I'm not going to answer your question because I'm going to answer it in my presentation that you didn't know I was giving.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just had a question regarding the DCU Center. I know we had this discussion a little bit
Matt
earlier.
and
I just want some clarification.
Jack, there's no captions. This is the city's feed on their website, and it doesn't have captions.
DCU Center
because we're such an accessible city.
DCU is paid for. Perhaps we're paying on some other aspect of it. Chair.
Through the chair, the DCU carries a debt obligation. Much of that is carried under the DCU tab that you can see.
Correct.
There is some debt that's shown here under the debt service obligations, but it is paid through the DCU Center Special District, which are the taxes collected by the state distributed to Worcester for that purpose.
What do we owe on that?
For the total, so the DCU Special District, under the original authorizations, in 2006, Chapter 442 of the Act of 2006, the city was authorized to borrow up to $30 million on behalf of the DCU, funded by hotel and meals taxes. That was amended in 2014, Chapter 415 of the Acts of 2014, which added an additional $30 million. So for a total of $60 million of borrowing supported by this state fund, the meals and hotel taxes from the state for certain parcels associated with the DCU. Right now, we have borrowed approximately 42 million of that 60 million. With the capital budget presented before you, that brings that number down by, I believe, another 6 million or so. So it'll leave us with between 10 and 12 million of remaining authorization to borrow as it affects the DCU.
Okay. Thank you. And just had a question on one of the objectives related to sound fiscal and operational government on page 306. The improvement and update of valuations with specific focus on tax exempt and personal property indicates here that the measure of that would be properties updated. Do we have a time frame within which we think that may be completed? Through the chair.
So through the chair, we have a 10-year cycle by which we do kind of renewed valuations, focused evaluations under the obligations of DOR. So we do about 1/10 of those properties that we have a year. So that's about 5,000 properties a year. The city assessor is now in his 3rd year, I believe, with the city. He's been working with DOR to try to update and improve some of our valuation processes. And so it is an ongoing measure. We will follow kind of the DOR obligations as it relates to valuations each year, but he's incorporated new technologies, kind of new ways of valuation that, kind of refine the valuation process and identify kind of items that
What
should
is
be
the
covered,
schedule
need
on
to be covered,
Doherty?
and have been missed over the years. So it's
2024.
an ongoing iterative process.
And so how do we...
Them
or how do
lighting the
you-
roof on fire
how
hasn't
does
changed
the
that?
administration,
No, that's good.
um,
Nope. Yeah, it should be
evaluate
opening
to what degree
for
we're
the
doing
2024,
that
going into the fall school year.
effectively, successfully, and timely? Through the chair.
Through the chair, it's really about the certification process through DOR. The city is not able to, as you know, when we do the tax rates every year, one of the items that holds the process for timing is the certification that comes from DOR. And so our ability to judge that really relates to the ease of which DOR can review, approve, sign off on the certification of values, and how close we can get between kind of the market assessments and the kind of valuations, which is a key factor that DOR looks at. So it's not so much there's a numeric scale by which to measure it, but it's that kind of coordination process with DOR to ensure that the values are certified.
Thank you. And I wanted to move a little bit to the pension obligation stuff. If you could just speak to how this is going to impact our city moving forward. I know, these obligations have been discussed on an ongoing basis, but if you could just share what we as a council should be paying attention to as relates to these bonds through the chair.
Through the chair. So I think there's 2 aspects to your question. One relates to the overall pension obligation, and then the other relates to the pension obligation bonds, which are the ones right here. So the city is required by DOR
Bill didn't die of
fully
boredom. He just
fund its
passed out
pension.
from boredom.
We have a time frame, like every community.
Giving
Bill
him
is
some time.
immortal. We have a time frame by which
Bill,
to
yeah,
reach
Bill
full
the
funding.
White
We are not currently there.
cannot
I think
be
we're a
killed. He's
little
not technically human. He
over
looks human, but
70 in the 70 percentile
yeah. See, there he
range
is.
of funding at this point for retirement.
So he'll be back in a different
contribution we make on an annual
I guess you can think of it as life
determined by that
cycles.
funding
I guess.
schedule. It's working with
but
PERAC at the
yeah,
state.
essentially immortal.
Kind of what are the needs, what keeps us on target, and that number is kind of modified as we invest, as the investment returns come back, and as the retirement fund grows. But right now we are on a track and an obligation to fully fund by 2034. When I referenced the fixed cost obligations of the city, that is a major component of.
You'll ever notice that the longer somebody works in local government, the more they come to resemble the fluorescent lights they're forced to sit under all day long.
Contribution will continue to grow as it relates to retirement up to the high.
That's probably why they have retirement ages.
In the final year, or the
Yeah,
penultimate
he will
year.
eventually
So
just become
the city
a fluorescent light.
budget will have to absorb a significant cost
kinda
that
cool.
final year. Then the number will drop, because at that right now we are paying not only for current staff, but we are paying for retirees who are no longer working for the city. They are fully retired. Once we reach full funding, the retirees will be funded via the pension fund itself, and we'll pay for every current employee so that by the time they become a retiree, they are fully funded. So it reduces the annual obligation down to just the cost of current staff for that year. So that is a challenge over the next 10 years that the city has to overcome, is fully funding its retirement. The pension obligation bonds were recognizing that obligation was coming, recognizing that retirement was a growing problem. The city borrowed money in 1998 in order to try to fully fund its pension at the time. The challenge was the 1990s and early 2000s were a tough time. Interest rates were higher. The market fluctuated.
I feel like a big cloud of Canadian incense just blew through my window.
It needed to, but at the same time, we absorbed that ongoing obligation of the bond.
Smells like maple
So we
syrup.
continue to have to repay that bond. The good news is the pension obligation bonds will be fully paid off by 2028. So
Is that true? Was there anything else to that? We kind of bailed after after it got boring.
And so the expectation is when we get to that point, the monies that we currently spend towards pension obligation bonds, we can start putting either as an additional contribution to the pension or as a contribution to OPEB or as a commitment more towards debt service so that
There
it
he
can help
is.
bring down some of our other
Right. Yeah. So to answer your question, I've been alive for all of recorded history and then some. My real name is unpronounceable by human beings of any tongue.
Yeah.
And it's sort of a cyclical thing. I do age, but then I am reincarnated as a boy. After the aging cycle goes through,
a boy shaner.
Yeah, yeah.
We get to that point.
So, yeah,
make sure we can absorb that.
I knew Hitler personally. I knew Napoleon personally.
Wow.
Absorb it along.
And you know what people say about them is mostly true. Genghis Khan, that guy could party. That guy could really party. Tell you what.
Good with the financial integrity plan over the years.
Not a good time for social politics, though. Let's just say.
No,
Back in that time, there was a different standard for behavior. I don't condone it.
Through the chair, our bond ratings are strong.
I think we've made a lot of progress in that regard.
Phil, is it true that in one of your lives, I've heard this, that you were Vigo the Carpathian?
Yes, I was Vigo the Carpathian, and I totally know who that is. I totally know who Vigo the Carpathian is, and that's because I was him.
Yeah,
and everything that he did is true, and that was me.
Interesting. Wow, that's really interesting.
Once a year. It's
I don't confirm nor deny anything that happened during my Vigo era.
Are there any large portraits of you, Bill?
Yeah.
There's the one the one that everyone knows where the two hands are almost touching, like the two Jack guys.
Oh, that's you too.
One of those is me. One of those. Yeah.
What
the one on the left.
Do you want to speak to you filling the sewers and subways in New York City with pink slime, and that was reactive to fear and anger and feelings and trying to possess a small child using it?
Yes, I would love to speak to that. Everything you just said was right. Was what I did.
Okay, it was cool and good.
It was cool and good. It was fine. And I had a plan, and the plan worked.
Yeah, I mean, hey, listen, I appreciate your candor.
What was Harold Ramey's like?
Harold Ramey's is definitely a guy I totally know.
Etc.
I totally know and can reference and speak about fluently. And everything that you think about him is correct. So.
To the contract.
This reminds me of a man from Earth.
I am a man.
Did any of you see that movie?
No,
I've seen The Man Who Fell to Earth.
It is a movie to watch with a lot of substances.
All right.
It is an entertaining movie that takes place in a single room. And it's a mind fuck. but it's not really a mind fuck at the same time because it's really, really not active.
And we're continuing negotiations on that as well.
This whole meeting's a mind fuck. This joke is fucking incredible. That is so good.
Anything that may have ever potentially been a lie is named after me. I made it that way because I wrote.
There's even a song about you.
I wrote the Constitution.
What is the amount set aside. And
Yeah,
continue
I'm just a bill. I'm just a
Sitting on
bill,
Capitol Hill.
and I've been living since the dawn of
Through the
creation.
chair, for
I think it's
union
those are the lyrics.
negotiations, we put aside.
Yeah, actually, that's
1.7 million. In
yeah.
planned
It's actually
right now
it
in
wasn't recorded
contingency,
properly.
there was
James
also
Madison said that bill is right,
COLA for
and someone
FY21.
else who was taking notes
We
heard the
put
Bill of
aside for
Rights,
some other
and
types of
so we've just been stuck with
accountability
it
and
ever
inflation.
since.
So there's
It's
about
happy
6
accidents,
million remaining in contingency.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah, Taylor Swift just broke up with Maddie Healy. I'm thinking I might try to step in on that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
That's cool. On the Maddie Healy side.
Yeah, he's a real gem.
Yeah.
Buy
low.
Chair, we put aside $4.1 million that it's proposed in the FY24 budget for contingency.
It's a cool. I think it's a cool.
About 3.9
like place we're at with fandom these days, where all of your fans can just be like, "Hey, break up with this guy," and then you do based on their collective
in
like
FY23
intelligence. Really, honestly,
Well, the fans want it.
Yeah.
Well, it's
we
also
ran the metrics on Maddie Healy,
the fans for Taylor Swift are like.
And last question in terms of our
They're
union
scary.
contracts, how many?
They remind me of like fan groups from South
June,
Korea.
I
Like
think some
they're
up this June
fanatical.
30th
Like they're
or July
actually
1st.
like
How
fanatical
many,
about her,
are out
rather
of
than
the
just being
cycle
fans.
in terms
Yeah,
of,
we are. Yeah.
It's
you know, that agreement
it's
is-
interesting.
is due.
yeah, I know. Speaking from personal experience, I would die. I would lay my life on the line, honestly, if I was presented the opportunity.
So
I would kill anyone for Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Would
If
you
you weren't
stand
a
outside
Swiftie,
in the rain and sing with a bunch of fans that you, even though you couldn't get tickets?
Oh yeah, no, I tunneled under the stadium just to hear the vibrations of it.
You know,
If you weren't a
I really
Swiftie, how many
wanna
Swifties do you think you could take in a fight?
As part of
none.
Zero?
Yeah.
I know when I first got
Approximately
Not
zero.
a Swiftie, and I know I could take zero.
Yeah, I don't. I
might have had a couple of conversations.
I don't know, Brendan. You might
I
be
like
fine.
her.
You
might be fine with your
really
jujitsu,
working
but
hard to make
there's a
sure that,
fury there that I can't
our
match.
employees in the city have up to date.
I believe you don't want that bad blood.
I know that.
Yeah. Look what she destroyed Katy Perry's career.
You know, there was obviously work and back and
Katy
forth
Perry
as it relates
from
to,
the Super Bowl.
bargaining.
Is this something about collective bargaining happening?
To resolve these matters.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
As soon as possible. We know that
I have high key
Wanting-
checked out of this meeting.
It is something about
up to date, some aren't,
contracts and
but
making
when
sure people have up to date
workers their
ones.
contracts are not up to date. That means that their base salaries are worth less than, and we often end up as a city, engaging in retro pay and things.
Christian
that,
King called me earlier today to say
that,
that he didn't read my
forward to seeing
story,
the
but he wanted to
administration
talk about it.
Their strategy is.
Oh, that's good.
So you read it to him?
That's very King.
Yeah. Call me back when you got fucking time, pal.
Yeah.
Our unions. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Some good on the pension
And
obligation.
then I asked him anything good on the agenda. And he goes, I don't know.
How many years was that? 25 years?
Oh, Jack read it to him.
Yeah.
I thought it was back in the 90s we took that out.
98 to.
Have we ever commented on the fact that Jack's photo,
your
the
sixth
Twitch
year.
photo, appears to be from when he was 7 years old?
Councilman Merrill Carlson.
He's just a proper lad.
Mr. Chairman, looking at the debt service,
I don't know.
It says here in credit CSX park projects. Could you tell me what park projects those are?
Is it my friend's parking lot?
Through the
Is it
chair,
my
one
friend
more.
Anthony Petroni's parking lot that you're talking about?
That is honestly an issue that's breaking through, because everyone is starting to hear about how that's the only reason that Palmieri's in the race. So they're like,
Yep.
people are really interested in hearing about it.
Through the chair, it is the.
I know. I should rehash that one. That is
I think-
100%, 1,000% the reason why Phil Palmieri got into the race.
General parking.
And I think it's important for people in that district to understand that in every other way that matters, Palmieri and Candy are
So
the exact
as I'm
same.
looking at
Yeah.
But I feel like
talks
it's
about
like Rob and
84,742
Phil are getting put
in
on one side and
22.
Candy's getting put on the other, and that only
In
benefits
That's
Candy.
not. Yeah, that's not
2023
true.
is
That's
an
just so not true.
85,919. And then recommended for appropriation in 2024, which is a $86,000
Only because he hates her. I think that's what gives him the
dollar
edge.
amount. And then when I go to obligations, it says CSX park projects, 25,000 in 22.
Yeah. Anthony Petroni also very connected in the
2023
local
is
Democratic Party apparatus.
15,531.
And he gets his treats. He
Despite-
certainly gets his treats from that.
Despite
Really-
managing Rick Cipro's campaign and absolutely voting for Donald Trump.
For 2024.
Oh, 100%.
10,555. Just curious how
Yeah,
this money.
D2.
Yeah, support Rob.
Rob all the way for D2. And he'll need help. He needs money too.
Yeah, he's gonna be.
Yeah, he definitely needs help.
He's gonna be in the chat
through the
here
chair,
sometime in
these
the
are
next
older projects.
few
This
weeks
was,
to
cool.
share when he has some more info about
committee's approval of
events,
various
his upcoming
projects in the
events and
area.
stuff like that. So
this
Excellent.
is just ongoing debt service for that existing park. There's no.
did
to
they
my
delete the
knowledge,
Facebook page, by the way?
projects,
Did that
no
officially get
I don't
deleted?
know.
to that debt service obligation.
It got boring after they got called out for the Hitler stash thing.
325 represents just principal. The second
Cipro's the
page,
president.
326,
He's
represents
the
just
vice
interest. So
president.
the two are
But he's
actually
running the thing.
together when you look at
Cipro's just the
broad
like
debt service.
unhinged mouthpiece.
But this is just the ongoing obligation
Cipro is
related
the
to borrowing that
is the guy screaming
In
at
fact,
the
the
ZBA
loan
last
issue
night.
was November of
Who's I'm assuming wife was yelling,
understand
"What the
that, but
fuck?
the last
What the
meeting
fuck?"
that we had prior to the
Uncle Daycare at the fucking ZBA last
I wish you
night.
could make an audio
manager
T-shirt
leaving
because
and all of the
just writing those
documentation
words
that
doesn't
I
convey like the
Yeah.
specificity of that
says
what the
that these
fuck,
projects
and it would be
That
really
what the
great
fuck
to
was so
share that.
funny.
So I'm a little
They didn't even vote on the
confused
thing yet. They
over
just voted to
how
close the public
this
comment. And she was like,
money
"What
is
the
still
fuck?"
on the book, given the fact that
Yes, Colleen
yeah,
West is
Colleen-
a different
I guess
woman.
I'm trying to
Different,
understand.
yes.
Only
how much
marginally, though.
money
Let's
is
just
being
say,
paid
like,
to this account,
in the
and
sense that they're,
doesn't
you know,
add up at
different
this
If-
point.
actual people, but they are kind of the same
Because
person.
For
Yeah,
example,
if
how
let's put it
those
this way, if they were both
funds
standing next
were
to each other in
broken
the
up, they
room,
were broken up
vibrated at
into
the correct
4
frequency,
different
they
areas.
might meld into one person.
And my understanding is
They came out of the
the
same
Beacon
pod.
Street area
Yes, yeah.
currently has approximately $336,000, which
Yeah,
is old
yeah,
money.
it feels
Doesn't
like that's the
account for
case.
any of the new monies that should
And
be in that
I do feel
account.
like
For
it's I think Rob has a tough
Canal
road
District, I know
in
that there was a
that
couple
she's entrenched and
$100,000
now there's a
left
third
there,
candidate there that has also
we also
has
had
history.
an agreement to pay for
And
the
also I think too that when people see Rob, then they're going to think he's a one-issue candidate, and that's not the case at all. So
what I'm
I'm excited for
saying
him to get the chance to kind
would
of
love to have a conversation
let people know about
this
him, and
because
you know,
this certainly is
but also
not
you know, honestly, like accessibility should be a huge part of the
to
campaign,
me in terms
because
of
there's no one
numbers.
else that's
And
talking about it in
again,
a real way, and
these-
obviously somebody
the
that
monies
has
from CSX
life
is
experience
allocated
that can speak to
into
that would be an invaluable resource to have for the whole city, not just for his district, for the whole city. So
So
it would be a huge boon to the city
council,
to
I
have
think
him on the
what
council.
Tim is referring to here, and what you the numbers here, this is debt on projects that we're taking on. And so what you're referring to is
and
funds
him
that
being
are
also
still
on the
available,
disability
and that's not reflected in
committee.
These 2 pages. These 2 pages only
Yeah.
reflect whatever
Well,
debt
accessibility committee,
currently paying,
whatever the heck we're calling it.
related to those projects that were done.
I think that also
from,
lends
from
itself
those
towards
the
making
CSX
it
funds.
almost
Yeah,
seem
in
like he's
terms of
one note.
the revenues or what currently monies are
So like when
available
you start
for the
seeing
CSX
like his
project,
list
that's
of
not
current
currently
things,
displayed here.
it
This
could
is only
lean to that
reflecting,
too.
the actual
But
debt.
from
And so
what I can tell,
the numbers that
he had a
you're
conversation with
describing, the
my
300 and some odd
my father-in-law
thousand
who
for
lives on
Shrewsbury Street, et
in
cetera,
district.
and the potential other
And
revenues
my
that could be in
father-in-law
there.
is like actively talking about him with his friends.
Compute to kind of
So
provide, to the
he's
council.
able to
What is that balance?
really communicate with people very easily because I
Through
think
the
they were on the
chair
phone for
to
like
the
5 minutes.
manager,
My
I
stepfather
understand
usually, not my
exactly
stepfather,
what
my
you're
father-in-law
saying, Duke,
usually
but
needs
that is
more of a
not how
conversation
we
before
had
he'll be like
typically
an
done
active
anything
promoter
with
of
CSX.
someone.
Is all I'm saying is typically
So
when any money
I think that as long as he is
nobody
able to
ever
get his
talked
message
about
out
that
there,
being
which is
paid
going
over
to
years.
be
That
difficult,
was that those monies were expended for
because
that
the
particular
city
project.
does not have an
So
engaged voter
I
population.
understand what you're saying.
It's a very passive
and,
voter population.
Certainly,
So
we'll have a follow-up conversation to figure
it's
out
going to be about
how
turnout.
this is
It's
now
going to be definitely going to be about
and
turnout.
volunteers.
process.
Yeah.
Because
So if you're in the district, then, or if you just want to help, then
thank
absolutely
you,
volunteer.
Mr. Chairman.
I know that he's working with Johanna
So
because they're he's
back to the
essentially
Worcester
taking up her
Library?
mantle
Unless you wanna wait till the
from
end.
her last run in many ways. And I think they're working together, and I think we'll probably see more of that as
Good.
it progresses. So
Mr. Chairman, I think it is the last department in front of you is the Worcester Public Library, being represented
they didn't do the library
by,
yet?
librarian Jason Homer and Suma Rubert
All
Silva,
right.
the assistant
Buckle up.
librarian.
We're doing the library
recommended
department
appropriation
budget.
for the
Buckle the fuck
library
up,
is
everyone.
6.6 million.
We're in for a
It's
goddamn ride
3%
here.
increase over FY23. The
I'm just really glad we're not
impact of that
facing
increase is a
what
result of regrades and COLAs within the
Sturbridge
department.
did.
It is
What, last night,
94
2 nights ago?
positions, same as the
Donna
prior.
Calorio is just like, yeah, question. Do you have any of those like gay
The
books?
library looks beautiful, and
Do you have any of those like those books everyone's talking about in my Facebook feed about
That was the problem.
about
The Republican
grooming?
Town Committee was like
It's very brief,
attacking
Mr.
the
Chairman.
the
I
library
really have no
budget
questions, just
over
comments. I mean,
LGBT stuff.
Wow,
that's cool.
That's just
Mr. Homer and his staff.
And it passed, but it was
Library continues
11.
to-
No, that was a different
to
thing.
evolve
It
and
passed,
to,
but it was squeaky, if I remember
serve
correctly. Matt would know better.
People in the city of Worcester, and sometimes
Matthew.
different ways than in the past, but in general, ways that are important to the residents of the city of Worcester. The library does reinvent itself, but at the end of the day, it's still the place to go to do research. I have such fond memories as a child before the internet, going to the Worcester Public Library and kind of
Oh my
feeling like
God.
an adult and doing my
Then
homework.
give them money for family
Back
leave.
in my day,
Children continue to go there.
we had to
Mo
walk
is just
uphill to school
unleashing,
both ways, naked as a jaybird.
brutally padding out his character as a wheelie backpack kid.
That's it. Council King.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mo is still a child. This is still his larval
Just a
form.
couple of questions. I know there's a number of goals here that I think are so timely.
We're always saying that. Everyone's always calling him Larval Mo.
Can you imagine when he pupates? Oh my god.
Be a gathering place and a welcome.
Oh, Larval Mo.
Yeah.
One day.
Warm and light and rich.
We're gonna have to get those weird like Attack on Titan like weapons.
Yeah. I can't wait for him to become Metapod Mo. He can only defend.
Motopod.
Quick
Motopod.
That relates to your diversity initiatives.
Oh.
Is there any line item dedicated to
Motopod.
DEI initiatives?
Motor free.
In terms of programming, in terms of hiring practices.
I was trying to get there. I was trying to leave butter in there somehow, but I couldn't find
Butter
it.
Mo.
Thank you. Through the chair, the Worcester Public Library looks at diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging on every aspect that we do. So there isn't a direct line item that addresses part of the.
That's kind of perfect.
Its true form is King Ghidorah.
Baked into every aspect.
That's
each year
awesome.
we work with our staff to ensure that we are developing programs, and we actually have some rubrics internally that help us check on those programs to make sure that we are looking.
This is a good
at
suit. This is a
our
city council
programs and
fit.
events
Big
through
time.
an equity lens.
Jason
that has
Homer's
been
a rad
through kind
dude.
of
I really like the
internal
tie.
initiatives, as part
I got
of
to meet
the,
him when I did the
goals
mini
and
golf in the
objectives that I
library.
set out
Really got to
for
talk to him.
FY
Great dude.
2024.
Did you get to meet him
I was
growing up
so
because you
pissed that I
guys look
missed
like
that.
siblings?
To this body
Yeah,
around
we're
the percentage
basically
of our
sisters.
collections,
People get us
representing
confused all the
diverse
time.
voices, making sure that we are doing our job.
This is the
I was
last
so
manager
pissed I missed
finance, I
mini golf.
believe,
to welcome those who have been
before
traditionally
the
silenced.
councilors get
also
to
welcome them to
choose
the
some line
table.
items to cut if
So
they
we are
want to.
really embedding that in every piece of our work. In a perfect world, the staff of the Worcester Public Library.
Yeah,
is
Travis, your brother is
Jason-
so articulate.
the community
Jason
of the city
Homer
of
is
Worcester.
what happens if you
We
don't do
have quite a long
drugs,
way
you
to
stay in the
go, but
library,
in terms of
and you
metrics in
get a
regard
master's
to,
degree.
hiring the positions, we are
The Travis that could have been.
make sure that
Exactly.
we are filling our positions,
my mom
especially
says.
our paraprofessional positions.
We get it, Travis. We gotta get you a sage green suit.
Those who might not
Yeah, apparently.
necessarily
This
have
is what
had
I'm
their
learning.
master's degree in
Thanks,
library and
Jason.
information science, but we can
They call
Matthew,
him
are there any
regular
other
back
events like
Travis.
the-
Thanks.
That's a good one.
What a fucking killer joke.
Oh, regular back Travis. Oh man, that's a good one.
fairly rigorous.
Just bringing
I-
heat with
I
that
invite
one.
any of you to say that to Jason out in the real world. That would be very
Hey, it's
funny.
regular
Hey,
back
it's regular
Travis.
back
Every single aspect that we do, and make sure that we're always reporting on it and keeping an eye. But we're not where we need to be.
I'm gonna scream it from
we'll always
across the
continue to
common.
work
Thank you. I know that with good intentions comes many challenges. And I wanted to focus a little bit on the social services.
Christian just out here making up expressions.
services of the Worcester Public Library.
There was one
Is
a
he
couple weeks
bringing
ago
up
that was
the,
really good.
Heating and cooling.
He does it. He makes up his own expressions, and I really like
No,
that.
I've
It's
been contacted by constituents who've had concerns about.
it's like it's just
access
improvisation.
and
Yeah.
response to them by your administration. You've been responsive to that in terms of
Beneath every great man is the ground that he
I
walks on.
wanted to talk a little bit about the social services aspect. Graduate librarian.
I'm actually curious about this part.
3 of those, grades 2, 3, and 4, and a security compliance officer. What's your expectation of that particular department, and what does it actually mean to have a social services department, and whether or not that's relevant in Worcester Public Library? Through the chair.
Mr. Homer.
Through you, Mr. Chair. Part of our social services department was developed as a response to the fact that we are an ever-changing organization. Shortly after starting, and this year, you'll see the organizational chart.
Yeah, I think right now what we need to do is just kill two stones with
That
one
is
bird.
because we have engaged in a reorganization to start addressing the needs of our community. And one
social
huge
potatoes,
piece
and they cracking
is
me
that
up.
we are the entry
Yeah.
point for many wraparound services that lots of our amazing nonprofits and other city departments engage with us. We host the weekly meeting of different support network services on Tuesday morning. Those happen at the Worcester Public Library. So it's
Gesundheit.
really,
Bless you.
us to,
Thank you so
creating
much.
Commitment to make sure that we
That was a
Brendan,
big one.
at all times
say bless you.
people
Thank you.
first. And so
Sorry
the
about that.
expectation for that staff
You better
part of
be.
it is this staff is already tremendous internal staff who have always had a strong commitment towards equity and approaching our people
So
that
wait,
come
are
to
we
the
actually
library in
hearing a
varying
department that's
crisis, whether
proactive
that's
and helping
homelessness,
people?
whether
What?
that's, coming as refugees or coming with a need that
That
isn't
never
as
happens
great
in
as those
Worcester.
two examples.
Thank you, library.
We need to be able to.
I also
come
appreciate that he came prepared with
as
a second who
the
is color
speaker
coordinated. It's
mentioned, information is
that the two
fundamental.
of them are at least working in the
And
same
how we
palette
access
speaks volumes
information
about
has
the
fundamentally
professionalism
changed.
with
And so
regular
our
back
social
Travis and his
services,
crew.
which,
I have
think
also
is a
never
title that we are
seen
using,
someone
to
so
really
visibly
describe the
upset
fact
to
that we
be
are
there.
one piece.
Understandably,
because
obviously,
we're here
like
to
no
address the
no
needs of our
hate,
community.
but
Yeah.
really,
we think that we're a
like
very important
just
puzzle piece
the acting
in the
there,
social fabric
conveying
of our community,
the moment
and
is
we're ready to prove
really
it with
good.
a real commitment.
She
to
could be
I
home
really
reading
feel
books.
the boredom.
and to make the partnerships
But
with
instead she has to be here
organizations,
listening to
that
this dumb
surround
shit.
us, and in some cases
Yeah,
share
organizing a
with
card
us,
catalog or something,
give
whatever
us the ability as a
whatever these
community to
freaks love.
respond to the needs
Dropping
that are
doses of
happening.
Narcan
The
is
pandemic proved how
I mean,
important
activity.
was.
To be like really qualified and knowledgeable in something like library science, and then you have to go into a room with 11 of the dumbest people in the city and like tell them about what you're doing must be just so punishing.
Yeah, do you ever watch somebody's like brain like just saying the words "I'm smarter than all of you" over and over and over again for the entire time that they're in a room?
Mr. Hosmer.
Yeah, she's risking not to engage because that'll make her dumber.
That particular department, how much money is
It'd be sick if regular back Travis just came out swinging. He's like, "You guys are all beneath me. I don't need to present anything. You don't know better than I do. Give me my money.
I need your money, not your thoughts."
All in favor?
You have an idea?
I will build a tower of books and rule
So
this city with an iron
I do want to
fist.
clarify, these are already internal positions. So the combination, to do some quick math off of the top of my head, would be.
It is very funny. We were talking about that yesterday a little bit, of just like how hilarious it is that like they have the quietest, most unassuming meetings 364 days of the year, but every once in a while something comes up that's like absolutely insane.
Between $200,000 and $215,000, and I would have to come back to this body for.
That's perfect. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We'll go on a little bit to the community services coordinator.
That sounds like a
position.
Halloween thing.
In youth services, I know that my daughters have frequented this place. I have daughters in all different age ranges. And my youngest, most recently, my 6-year-old, Leonie, loves to go to the library. And, you know, I can't imagine the importance of this particular department as it relates to the populations you mentioned, refugees and folks who are in the need for information. This youth services component, what's the, or is there any sort of financial piece that's employed with technology? I'm not sure. With our Worcester community groups, youth groups.
We have to assume.
Yeah.
Good daughters of all ages.
Daughters of all ages.
Didn't grow them on trees.
Allotment or component specific to that, or is it kind of just
I don't know. I
tied
just
into
found the comment
operations through
itself
the chair?
funny.
Through the chair,
That should be
all of those pieces would be tied into
fuck.
operations.
Vote for Christian King. He fucks. Jack, see what you can do.
Yeah, Jack, run that by him.
Store it, raise monies to help support many of the
Vote
programs.
for Christian King.
and
He
advances
fucks.
that we bring into the community. So in addition to all of those, we do have both our foundation for the Worcester Public Library and the Friends of the Worcester Public Library.
Matthew, is that the same as the
Support that.
movie? Because
There
I've
is
seen the
it would be
movie.
a direct correlation line because it is embedded.
Thank you. And the
That was a
community
fantastic
branches,
line
How
made
many
up,
do we
Bob.
have at this time? I know we have the Valley, might have one over by Burncoat or something, but how many do we have?
Chill out, everybody.
There are 4 of our
Getting horny in the chat here.
I'm
gonna have to dump some ice water in the chat.
Schools of Burncoat,
And I will definitely at
We
100%
have
not
2,
look up
traditional
Christian
community
King's wife.
branches, one at Great River
I
Valley,
don't
as you
understand
mentioned,
wrestling.
and our Francis Perkins.
Oh, I should come
branch,
Saturday
which is
and
our
check it out.
only remaining Carnegie building.
It's gonna be fun.
And then obviously the main library here.
Christian Casanova is gonna.
I'd really
beat up a
rather
human
be
hot dog.
Great work here. I'm glad
finishing
we're not
building my
having- Hopefully we won't
bookshelves.
continue to have
That
turnovers.
way we can
in
stop having
leadership of
stuff
this,
stacked up around the house.
Worcester Public Library. I think we have good
We've got
leadership in
bookshelves
place.
we've been working on
The only
since
thing I
December
would
of
mention, Mr.
2019,
Chairman, is
just before I
know
had
that
my
there's- it
near-death
certainly
experience,
is a haven for a lot of folks.
surgery
You
issue,
mentioned homelessness,
and
refugees,
we have one that
families,
is
and
one
it's a
coat
safe
of
place.
polyurethane
It is
away from
definitely
being
a safe
finished
place.
on some of the
The
shelves.
only thing I would suggest,
And then
Mr.
there's another
Chairman,
one that needs another coat
is
of
that the
poly, and the
administration give
shelves
full
need poly and
consideration
stain.
to,
And then the other bookshelf
potentially having a
entirely
clinical
needs
social worker,
stain and poly.
as part of the team. I
So,
do absolutely believe
yeah,
that
we've
in
done a
this
lot since
particular budget
2019.
overall, that there's some spaces and some
It's one of those
funds
projects that
dangling
just kind
there.
of became
I
that
talked about it
giant chore
previously,
that really
for
shouldn't
some of
take
the
that long.
budgetary items and projections. And I know that we conservatively
I haven't paid my landlord yet for this month.
You know, I
protest or just laziness.
In terms of,
I think about doing it, and then I'm like, nah, you know. Then I do something else.
Wraparound
I think I'm just gonna like keep that
services
going for a little longer, just like to remind him that I
this
could
might
not
be
pay.
where we can conserve.
Depending on your landlord, that could be amusing or a really bad idea.
Well, I just like to establish dominance.
That the city administration give full consideration to
The stuff I see in some
the
landlord
potential
forums. I just want to punch people.
Onboarding a clinical social worker in some
landlords are
there are a lot
by
of
default
challenges
fucks.
for
And they have to demonstrate
I'm
otherwise.
seeing a pretty decent shift in a lot of like the Facebook
Yeah,
groups
question from Mr.
and
Homer?
forums that I'm on, to being a little
Mr.
bit
Moore?
more of people calling
Thank you,
out
Mr.
the
Chairman.
assholes
I just had a question
rather than just
around,
letting the assholes
the
chat.
librarian grades. I just wonder
That's
how
good.
long.
So
it
there
I had
might
a-
be some improvement happening.
When I lived in Brighton like 10 years ago, we
Grades
and I just
are
stopped paying rent
essentially,
for like a year.
are a little
And
bit of a holdover from
they didn't say
early,
anything. Like,
budgets
they just didn't fucking say
and
anything.
early,
So I just let it go
agreements.
until they said something,
Originally,
and then I
the
started paying again.
library
And they didn't ask
director
for the
was
back
a
rent
grade.
at all.
The head librarian had a
Wow.
grade.
It was
So
pretty
our
crazy.
grade
That's lucky.
for the graduate librarian grade 4 is our kind of reference supervisor. So to be a graduate librarian grade anything, you do have to have a master's degree in library and information science. Anything below that, it really depends on that on the process and the experience of the candidates. I have in my tenure, my short tenure of 2.5 years, have seen people go from a grade 1 to a grade 2 and now ultimately to a grade 5.
Yeah, it was
all
It
within
was
2.5
so amazing
years,
seeing that.
and that usually
The
comes
comments
with
on the
those
group
with the ambition to
posts.
do it, those with the idea that they
Just
want
nobody
to
Worcester's
move
comment.
into leadership and management roles within the organization. So
When I send rent to
there's
the
no
landlord,
clear
I'm just
metric
gonna
to
write
that
in the
piece.
description of the Zelle
Within
transfer,
the last
just
2
bitch.
years, we have
The best part about that too,
internal
that
staff
like
members to
that
higher
dude
grades.
admitted that when he was like
And those have
testifying or
been
he was
through,
doing public
through
comment last
promotions
night
and well,
that he inherited his
applications and
house.
appointments.
Right.
He said
It's
it.
been
He fucking said it.
most of that
So,
information
you know,
journey. There are
whatever.
people
Yeah,
who
that's
love their role and
one
never
of
want to leave their role, and they are the
upside
best
to
at their
having
role, and we always
this
want them
be
to
such
stay
like
in their
a
role. And we get
family, like a
talking about
long time
retirement.
family neighborhood is
But
that when
as
arguments
a
happen,
as a
people take a
unit,
lot of shit into it
the
with them. They have a lot
anytime
of
you see
built
the
up
term
emotional
librarian
baggage
grade,
and dirt on each
that
other,
we are
and they just
we
like
call
really
paraprofessional
unload sometimes. It's really
negative
fun
space in a
because
way that
people were
says
saying
they're not
some
a master's
haggard
degree in
shit to
library
that
and
lady
information science, and so
in
those
many of her
individuals
posts.
are regulated to those
They're
grades.
like, your
1,
mom had a
2,
lobotomy.
5, and then we have our graduate librarians, which we affectionately call GLs, and our GLs go from grade 1 to 5 to 4 traditionally.
Gotcha. And thank you. It's good to hear that there's a lot of, internal like promotions and stuff like that. I just want to understand a little bit about the competitiveness of the salaries of librarians because, I'm looking at these grades, I'm like, dang, for a master's degree, maybe grade, 5 and making, let's say 53K, I wonder if that's competitive around here or if we could do better in being competitive to ensure that people, stick around.
Thank
Through
you,
Mr.
Dave.
Chair. We definitely always have work to do. I am not a person that ever likes to say anything is done, but we do the state of Massachusetts is fairly unique in its
I'm really sorry to
librarianship.
hear about their property
There is
values.
a governing body called the
Social.
Massachusetts Board of Library Commissioners, which we call the MBLC. And in libraries, we love our acronyms, so I apologize for all of my acronyms. But on the MBLC website,
Never,
there is
ever
a salary
apologize for anything regular back, Travis.
Part of our certification to be a certified public library, we have to report every bit of this data. And all of
Yeah,
that
Matt, I bet you have
actually
some choice words right now.
metric. For our union staff, we are pretty much on target for the metric of libraries, but I'm not going to say, I'm going to end that sentence. I'm going to continue a run-on sentence to be on a soapbox to say librarianship as a field is not paid at a space, but that is not something on the shoulders of the city of Worcester. It is on a much greater shoulder. So the short answer to your short question.
They're on
was,
way more
we
powerful
are
and
fairly
cooler
competitive, but
shoulders
we are
than
always
you
double
guys.
checking than me.
You fucking dweebs.
Yeah.
I know y'all do really great work, and so just want to make sure that everyone is comfortable at the library.
Thank you. And so we have a motion to approve. Those in favor? Oh, so awarded. Thank you for coming back. Much appreciated.
Goodbye,
the
regular
financial
back, Travis.
integrity Plan, and
Oh no. What are we doing now? The plan?
I think I have it.
Financial integrity plan?
Guys, I found this old photo of Bill.
You gonna do a presentation?
Oh boy. Yep, that's me. It's me.
That is so troubling.
Yeah. It is never, ever good, Travis, when you Photoshop my face into another person's body. It's never good. It's just never, ever good.
Mr. Chairman, if I could, we'll just
Wow.
start with kind of the overall financial integrity plan and then focus in on the city manager's presentation.
The Grinch.
The
There we
financial
go.
integrity plan, as this council knows, was a kind of effort of the city back in around FY12, FY13 to lay out clear guidelines as to how it
Hell
would
yeah, social
structure
potato.
and plan for
That's
its
sick.
finances, how it would build reserves and kind of responsibly address its financial condition. This is a centerpiece of how we build our budget. It's a centerpiece of how we present to the rating agencies, as mentioned earlier, and it really has enabled the city to build up over the years kind of a strong financial basis that previous to the financial integrity plan, it was more of an annual
What a
effort and
basic
initiative as
word
opposed to
template
kind of this progressive growth that
table.
we've seen over the years.
Yeah.
The elements of the financial integrity
Amateur
plan
hour over here.
based within the budget really relate to the creation.
Hey,
yeah.
at least there's a table.
These reserves and
At least there's
stabilization
even a
funds are
table.
take
Yenni, what's
advantage
the
of
recommended
growth in
appropriation of the
interest and
ballpark
funding
diff
and
reserve?
planning so that when the highs
I have
of
no idea.
certain
The
costs
thingy's in front of it.
we have money set aside to be
Oh,
able to bring
right,
those
thanks.
highs down, limit the impact on that specific year.
I don't have
year's
access to
budget,
any of these
and
documents in
ensure
front
that
of
we
me
have
at the
monies
moment.
put aside.
I was
for,
making fun of
you know,
them for
we
blocking
don't
it
have
with
an
their
official
bar.
rainy day
Oh.
fund, but at least money's put aside to ensure that
Yeah.
the rain
Good-
doesn't
good
bring
job.
us down.
I'm not good at
The
being
core
a
elements
straight man
is
for jokes.
outlined within the budget itself. First is the bond rating stabilization fund. The bond rating stabilization fund,
I am
unlike
where
some of
jokes
these
come to
others,
die.
is not funded through the general budget
The
annually, but instead is
sponsor
part of the
program.
commitment through free cash.
Nice.
When the
Thanks,
free
Beck.
cash is
Are they
determined and
listening?
goes
Ballpark.
for the council as part of the budget adjustments. The commitment
That's
under the
great.
financial integrity plan is that 50% of the free cash goes
That's
to the
cool.
bond rating
There's
stabilization
nothing else we could
10%
spend
goes to
$2.5 million
OPEB
on.
for
That's fine.
post-employment benefits, and then
It's great.
20% is
That's
actually used
totally
for
fine.
discretionary appropriations for that year. So bond
So while
rating
we were
stabilization
choking
is
on
not
Canada's
proposed for
smoke,
funding in this budget, but we will be back to you in the fall.
Puerto
with
Rico
the
was
recommendation of
basically
50% of
almost
whatever
entirely
free
over
cash is
100
available.
degrees today. Some areas
Next fund,
hitting
capital
125.
campaign stabilization fund is
And climate change is totally not a thing, right?
related to specific
Nope.
debt service obligations that we
Haiti's
have. The
completely
monies are
fucked
put
at the
inside
moment.
these funds and then drawn throughout the year to address it.
Bill has lived long enough to know that these things are cyclical.
Debt service obligations.
Right, right. I was there.
The
I was
city
there
square
in
dip
the
reserve is the diff
in the
reserve fund
little
related
ice
to the city
age
square project from the
in the
2000s to
1600s in
2010s.
Europe.
North High School
And
construction fund.
man, you know,
Or the monies put aside each
the
year
food
to
sucked
pay the debt
because the
service
food was
of the
just
North High School
not
project.
good.
New high school
Not good.
construction
Even
fund that
even the
relates
lords,
to,
you know,
the
even the
money
lords and
set aside
ladies
that
Right.
support
were
primarily
eating
South
the
Florida
worst,
schools.
you know,
There
ham
was
hocks.
formula
You-
based on the financial
the
integrity
chewiest
plan.
meat.
This year we go up by
I
25%.
don't even like to hear about that. That's so depressing.
It was just
You guys were
terrible.
eating
Fire
all the
stabilization
mastodon.
fund. In prior years, we have funded
Yeah,
the fire
yeah,
stabilization
and the
fund
mastodon.
through the financial integrity plan. It is not an obligation of the plan. In light of the two elements, one is the sufficient resources within that fund. This fund was
Fire
set aside
stabilization
for
fund
South Florida
0.
Fire Station,
No
and it
fires
has
will be stabilized
over
in
$6 million
FY
of
23,
resources at this
24.
point in time. So it's in a solid shape, but also just the challenges of budgeting and balancing this year. We weren't able to commit funds to the fire stabilization fund through the budget process. We may look again through the budget adjustment process.
20th Orca attack this month.
What the city manager will
Those orcas rule.
But the 2.3 million
on a yacht
which are DIF-generated
in
revenues
the Strait of Gibraltar.
I'm telling you, you get eaten by a killer whale and you're on a yacht. You're on the killer whales. That's on you, dude. It's on you.
And then are allocated over to
That's like dying on Mount Everest, you know? No sense.
Unforced error. Is that's
unforced error? Yeah, exactly.
Under the financial integrity plan, it is a 10% increase annually.
Orcas are the killdozers of the sea. This is now.
I mentioned 30%.
I want to stand on a rock jetty and watch an orca destroy a ship and just go, yeah.
Manager.
You know what they say? The orcas will inherit the earth.
Free.
I heard Christian King say
Free
that.
Killy. That's what they.
So what we
It's the movie is called Free Killy.
Discussion as part of the financial integrity
Free
plan
Killy.
was to discuss the ballpark diff.
I just dropped a link
district
to a
and give you some
tweet
numbers
from Matt
and some
in the chat.
perspectives on a lot of the questions that not only
That's a
this
freaking
council
god level tweet,
has
dude.
had for Tim McGurty and
That's just
myself,
perfect.
but also community and
It's
and
I swear to
media,
God,
etc.
sometimes I'm not sure if I'm
So as
watching
we all
Worcester
know,
City
I think,
Council or Parks and
one
Rec.
of the things that
Oh, yeah.
Please, perfect.
All the time. It's Pawnee, Indiana.
Reality
this
outpaces
district.
satire.
And there's very
Yeah, these
specific
are a bunch of new
sort
developments that aren't going to pay any
associated with
taxes
this.
for 30
So
years.
what I want to do is I want to take us through a timeline.
Yep.
And then go through some of the slides and then allow for some questions that hopefully can clarify some of the questions.
This
that we
might
all
be
have.
interesting because
And,
this is Eric
I
defending
will
the
be
ballpark
during
not paying for
the
itself.
presentation
Those
inviting
would be humpback whales,
Tim
Jessica.
McGurty to
Thank
further
you.
explain some of the numbers. And if you all have any questions related to some development or what have you, also have Peter Dunn here to answer any of those questions as well. So if you could go back, Nico. Yeah, you got to go back a few slides. Keep going. Keep going.
That's the first slide. I thought. Here you go.
Right there.
So
we'll,
based on the major, there was
actually,
just a
here in
tweet
this
from
slide
Eric
here,
Fisher,
you
the
see
meteorologist,
you see a
and he just made a
representation
tweet
and
about
overview
New York
of
City
what
having the second
potentially,
worst air quality of any
the
major city in the
improvements of
world right now.
ballpark and what the diff district
They topped
is.
out today
It's
at
not the entire canal
158.
district.
We topped
certain
out at
portions of
163.
of that canal
Nice.
district.
The only
And-
thing above
and,
that
and
New
a
York
lot
City
of
on the
it
list
is
was
the land and
175
the
for Doha,
properties,
Qatar.
that were formerly known as
Oh.
Wyman Gordon and
Sorry,
now
Cutter.
Madison owns. And so you
So
see
only
there
slightly
that it is
below
a
the max.
You know,
small
I
area
thank you for
in
that
New York
information,
City,
Yenni,
entire
but
city,
come
but
back
it's
to
a
me when
significant
fucking
area
Bruce
when
Schwegler says it.
you think about
Okay?
the canal
That's the
district
only
as a
weather
whole.
guy I trust.
So when we look at the timeline on the next page,
Bruce
the
Schwegler.
next slide, in
He's
2018,
an
the
old-
Red Sox
he's an
letter of
old
intent was
meteorologist.
with Worcester.
Ah.
City council
Yeah, I don't watch
approval
TV.
of the diff and
Easy
original loan
back then.
authorization also
I
happened
do
in
the Twitter.
2018.
I do follow
In
a
2019,
lot of
the
meteorologists
ballpark
on Twitter,
construction
though. So
commenced.
that's
And
where I
also
get
the
Eric
my
Fish is
Madison
pretty
letter of
good.
intent was
I think he's an
initiated
actual
in
meteorologist, not
2019.
just a weather
And in
reporter.
2020, the city council approved the diff.
I'd love to be one of those guys that goes to the
which
storm
that
and
was
is
in
just
relation
uncomfortable
to
on the
what
camera.
we all know what happened. in
Yeah, it's
2019,
really windy out here.
It's COVID. In 2021,
COVID.
the
I'm
city
loving the
council
like
also
millennials
approved
that
the
are
ballpark
just like
commission.
reporting
And,
from outside in those
2021,
storms and
Worcester,
not giving a
Red Sox
fuck
lease
about
and
what they
opening
say.
day happened.
Yeah.
Also, in
Just
that time
flat
frame, they
out
did the
like,
Madison land disposition.
you're really
and
gonna make me
development
stand out
agreement
here
with the
even longer?
LDDA,
Yeah, we'll come
with
right back
Madison,
to you.
and then also
All
the
right,
Madison
fine.
Solmont residential
Like
groundbreaking
there's some
happened in
reporter
2021.
in Buffalo,
In
New York during one of the
2022,
snowstorms or something.
the
He was
Green
like out
Island
there
Boulevard
freezing
garage was
with like
completed.
snow getting stuck
The
to his
Rockland
face.
Trust Plaza was completed. The Boston Capital Affordable Housing
What the f-
groundbreaking started, and the Cove groundbreaking was initiated as well. And then now in 2023, planning board filings for Quartera and also 153 Green Street development. And then recently the WRA in Madison final land transfers occur. So if you can see, it's 6 years span of time, but the bulk of the work that has happened within this.
I totally
ballpark
could
has
see you
happened
do the Jim Canatori
for
thing though,
2.5 years.
of just like showing
So I
up
just
to
wanna
the
put that into
worst
perspective
spots and
because
just somehow
I know it
standing
seems like
outside in it
quite a
and
bit
not
fast,
giving a
but
fuck.
the reality of development,
Be fun.
the reality of creating ballpark commissions, creating all of
That
this
guy
development,
actually,
et cetera,
He has to
it's
put out
roughly
like
2.5 years
alerts
in terms of how
in Florida
of the
when his
amount of work
family's
and
going
where
on
we're at
vacation
currently right
and
now.
like he's going to show up somewhere else
With
because
relation to
people
the Canal
literally
District
panic when they
improvements
see him
here
somewhere because
in this
he is
map,
always
in
at
color
like literal eye of the
coordination, it
storm
shows you in terms of
for
what has
anything
happened.
that's hitting.
So ballpark
He
land
even came up
acquisition and
here
construction you
for a
see
couple of
in the
storms
blue
that people
highlighted
thought
area.
weren't going to be
The land
horrible and
acquisition and
just all of a
preparation,
sudden just were bad.
it's all in the yellow. Open space
He's one of those
construction
guys in
is
Florida
in the
where if you
green.
hear that he's
Primarily, you
coming
can
to
see
where
that
you
on
are,
the
you
lower
leave.
end of the picture. Parking garage construction is the big red box that you see there, and then the street and sidewalk. These are the major public improvements that you've seen in the Canal District overall, as part of not only the ballpark but just the overall.
That parking garage is completely and
to this,
utterly insufficient. What the fuck are you talking about?
I don't understand what this presentation's about. Oh, the fireworks, good.
And a lot of that has been public improvements. One of the major ones that we all know.
This is such a
on the
weird
top left there
defense. Like,
is Kelly Square, the Peanuts.
this is a budget
In
hearing,
that
right?
area,
And he's talking about
as
like,
we all know, it was significant, and we couldn't have done that without the support and the help and the assistance of the state to be able to fund.
this is the rhetorical move of a guy who knows he's wrong.
For many, many
Right.
years.
Has anyone
been a
else
lot of
noticed though
different
what the
studies
peanut
and
that like
consultants
people
looked
don't know
at
how to
Kelly
use it?
Square to improve it. And,
Yes.
That
They have no idea.
every single at every like when you're
addition
coming
to that,
down the
we do
hill,
have,
every single person
a
that's
new-
going
a
around
new
the
green
rotary
space at the
stops,
Picket Plaza,
and the people
where
coming
we
down the
were
hill
able
keep
just
moving.
recently,
It's like it's so
to honor
fucking
Tobias
stupid.
Boland in a statue, but also the replica of the canal as well.
Well, I
And
mean,
so
for
that's a major improvement.
eons
On
you've
the
had
lower
to
right, you see a
because they're
major
coming down the
improvement
hill
that
had the right
was,
of way.
related to, the Green Street
Right.
Bridge,
Yeah. That's what they.
bring some,
I mean, they did like the fact that they
lighting
didn't put up
into that
yield
area
signs or
and-
do any of
and
the
invite and
regular
make that
rotary
connection point
like
between downtown,
markings
in the Canal District. So what you see here is, in
is
addition to
wild.
just the ballpark,
Oh yeah. I mean, there
there's
was one
significant
time when
improvements
Jess
to
maybe
that area,
like
and a lot of these
blatantly
improvements
blew
were
out into
done
the
with
rotary.
other
and
federal and state
I
funds.
went on this same rant.
Not
But
particular to the city.
it's not her fault.
Oh,
It is the fault. It is the fault of
So
the,
the
the
next slide,
design. It just makes me
when we look at the
very angry.
ballpark diff private
The old Kelly Square was totally 100%
in
fine.
2023, Madison
It was
Residential, which is the number one.
They counted all the
fine for the
accidents
out of
on the
towners.
290
site.
on and
That's
off
the
ramps
highlighted
as
green down
being
below.
Kelly Square accidents.
That's
what made it
But it
the
was
most
too
accident
scary
prone
for people
intersection
to
in the
get to the
state.
park.
In
Yeah.
2024,
Well, fuck
we're expecting
everyone.
the Cove,
It's
Who's
Boston
ever lived,
Capital,
scary.
basically.
and Spruce Street, which is currently underway to happen.
Yeah, that's a wild. That's a
and
wild
be
take
completed
on that.
as well in 2024, and those are the highlighted in yellow. And then purple is what we're expecting beyond 2024. Is the left field building, the hotel, 153 Green Street development, Quartera.
So it's been pushed out past
the number 2 Madison residential building, and then also
24
the
for
lab
those.
building. And so
That's
all
good
of
to
these
know.
elements compose.
Yeah,
all
and
these
don't
private
worry.
investments
All of these
compose
developments are totally
what it is
recession
in
proof,
the
right?
ballpark diff.
And
Don't
they're
worry
totally
about
gonna
that.
pay for it.
Totally not
that
contingent
I've
on
highlighted here, it's
a
what
healthy market
funds,
for them to go forward.
a
A
lot of the work,
complete
a
collapse
lot
of the commercial
what
real
funds the
estate
actual
universe
reserve
will not
account,
impact
the
any
diff
of these
reserve account
developments at
for
all.
the ballpark diff district. And then here, the next slide here, what you see is a potential viewpoints of what these sites will look like.
The demolition of
Woodbridge,
Warside was
unfortunately,
totally
wouldn't
unrelated to
work
this.
to Gross
in terms
Alley.
of the development and the activity.
Or
of
sorry,
these.
Sweet
So
Potato.
when you look at the top left, that includes Boston Capital.
There
the
was
garage,
a conversation
the
on
Table Talk
Twitter
site,
a couple days
and
ago,
also the
last
Quartera.
week, I think,
And on the
about
left- on the
putting
left-hand side,
a
you see the
walkway
Madison.
over
On the bottom
part
of
of
that same, on the bottom there, the colorful building. That's
in
the
front of
Quartera
Union
building.
Station, that rotary.
On the top right here,
And it
what you
was
see
figured out that to
again
get a
is
truck under it,
further
you need a
development.
400.
believe that is
You need
the-
400 feet to go up.
Which one is this one?
To a
I'm trying to
15-foot
orient myself. Which is
height
this one?
for trucks to be able to
This is
get
the
under it
Madison
for
Soma,
wheelchair
properties there.
accessibility. So that's
And then in the bottom,
it's
right, you see
basically
the
not
Cove,
feasible on the
the
side
Cove
of a road.
development. These are potential renderings currently right now of what those sites will look like, which, as you can
And we
see,
can't dig.
is significant major transformation transformation of the canal district, and which is composed of the DIF. And so right now I'll turn it over to Tim, and what Tim will do is describe the funding sources of the DIF account, the DIF fund, which will give some light of what those revenues look like, what our expenses are, what our bond obligations are, And where do we stand for currently FY23? Where will we stand in FY2024? And what our projections are over the next 30 years or so. Tim?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Manager. Earlier the conversation occurred in terms of the timing and receipt of various funds related to the DIF. And that is one of the challenges of explaining how the DIF operates. There is no such thing as a DIF bill or a DIF payment. What happens is within the district, within the identified area of the DIF, certain revenues generated, some by the city, some by the state, are committed over to the DIF, committed over to that reserve to pay for the bond issuances related to that project. And they come to the DIF reserve in different ways, which makes it difficult even through this budget to identify exactly what monies are generated and how they apply to the DIF. So the idea here, the guide is to try
You
to
would think that
make sense
accountants
of the
would be able
various
to figure
elements
that
you
out
might
and
see.
show it.
Some that come through the DIF, through this budget, some that come to the council throughout the year, and others that go directly within the DIF reserve. First and foremost, the budget number you see in front of you relates to funds that are collected by the city, come into the general fund, and then get appropriated by the city council. They are reflective of net property taxes.
I really appreciate the
meals
first
and
comment I
use
came back
taxes
to
that
was
come in
sending
from
a
the state to
recovered
the city,
20.
and permit fees coming in, allocated within the DIF district, and appropriated then through this budget process over to the DIF reserve. All of these funds are above the incremental value of the base DIF, so the monies due to the city within the base continue to stay within the city.
It's always
Monies
been
above that, the
impossible to
increment,
reach.
are
That's not
allocated
really
then to
anything
the DIF
new.
reserve for expenses related to the DIF obligations, the debt service. Throughout the year, it's twice a year, we're in the habit of a rhythm of twice a year, you see and you approve a transfer from the off-street parking board that goes over to the DIF reserve. And that transfer is related to revenues secured throughout the season from parkers under the
I love how
agreement
we're just
between
being
the
like
city
forced
and
to
the
look at
off-street
this
parking board.
completely useless
$1 for event parking is retained by the
slide.
off-street parking board, and the remaining of the fees are reclaimed by the DIF.
Travis, are you
Only
meaning
related
to show
event
us
nights and only for
something
designated
else?
parking lots
Oh,
captured
let's
within
get
the
it
DIF.
password. Travis, show us your
Finally,
password.
there are two elements
This
that are
isn't me.
received directly into the fund.
Oh.
The team lease payments, which were mentioned earlier, which are received twice a year, those payments go directly
Oh,
into
that
the
was
DIF
just
reserve.
on their
And
screens
then
they did that?
advertising and street rental, which are
Yeah.
collected by the
Oh my
team
goodness.
and then deposited, transferred to the
Dude, we
city
could have
for
hacked the
deposit
mainframe right there.
the DIF reserve. And so there are three different avenues by which these funds are coming in. The DIF reserve is there to pay for the debt service related to the bond issuances. And you can see on the next slide that the city issued 6 bonds over the course of 2018 through 2022 to pay for the ballpark and the ballpark DIF obligations. The amount authorized by the city council was approximately 146
Oh, yeah, that
million.
lawsuit?
The various
Crazy.
bonds issued and drawn on over the course of those years was 145 million. Each one of those years creates a 30-year debt service obligation. You can see on the chart.
Why
on
does
right,
the
that
line
is the net debt
rapidly
service
spike in
capital,
2049?
Capitalized interest from those initial years, and you can see how the debt service
Is that everything we've pushed off?
then somewhat
It has
stabilized
something to do with
and
Blade
increases
Runner.
slightly year over year until you get towards the final years where there is
What a good
balloon
movie.
payment for the final
God.
years
Man.
before the bonds are fully paid out by 2051. That
Speaking
DIF
of good
reserve
movies, anybody
is
see
what's
Spider-Verse
dedicated
yet?
to paying this debt service.
No.
On the
Fuck,
next
dude.
slide, you can
Good?
see two things.
Amazing.
You
I
can
hear
see
it's really
the status
good.
of the DIF reserve.
Well,
and
go
then
see it
you
in
can
the
see
theater. Just
annual
even if you
sources
don't care that
owed.
much
So
about
the
it,
money's coming in
like
versus the
to
money's
see
going
that
out.
movie in the theater
And you
is
can see
like
these early years
it's probably
are
the best looking
challenging
animated
years.
movie of all time.
Between 2020
Yeah, I'm
and
planning on going next
2022,
weekend
there
because
was
I gotta
decline
see
in,
Sunspider on the big
the
screen.
uses exceeded the
She's
sources
not
that were
named in
coming
it,
but then in
but she's
2023
a
we have that DIF
newer
reserve
Spider
component that
person
came in,
who was
the
added
$3 million
through one of
land
the
sale
fan
payment
programs,
was contributed,
and she has Ehlers-Danlos
sorry, that came in
syndrome and
2022, was
is
contributed and then
supposedly in there
carried the reserve
somewhere with
through
her
those
wheelchair and her
initial
crutches.
years. We are
She's getting. She
still
has a.
there,
She has a line. She
money
has a
is
line in the
paid out
movie.
on a
Yeah.
regular basis.
Yeah.
But that
Yeah, it's
DIF
really
She's
cool.
voiced by
touching this in
a
the
disabled
beginning of the next
wheelchair
slide, but
using
we
comedian.
began FY23 with 2.7 million in that DIF reserve.
I thought that was really amazing.
Those kind of
for them
years
to
where the
bring all that in. I cried when I
revenues are
first
not
found out
paying the
about
expenses
Sunspider,
are
not gonna lie.
drawing down that reserve.
It's cool as hell. It's
In the
really
years,
cool.
however, where
Like
the DIF revenues do
it's a really cool
overcome, they
scene
do
too.
succeed in paying those expenses, the DIF reserve begins to grow again. And that's where you can see the red line over the next few years starts to pick up speed as additional projects
I can't
come
wait to see
online,
your end of big
additional
screen.
revenue
I
streams
saw
are
it in
activated,
IMAX the other
and you
day,
can see the DIF reserve
and I sat in like the second row of an empty theater because
Oh,
I just was like,
So this current year,
I wanted the
as you look
movie
at
to kill me.
FY23 DIF
And
activity.
it almost did.
And this
Did
is
it?
In a
again,
good
we
way.
have not
Oh yeah,
finished
it's fucking. It rules. It's so
so
fucking
that
cool.
challenge is how do you capture a year
I just
midway
can't.
through?
Like your neck must
Some
be
of these
killing
are
you.
actual receipts or actual expenses that we've
it's not
generated.
bad.
Some are still some anticipated receipts that we expect over the course of the rest of the month. However, we started FY23 with approximately $2.7 million in the DIF reserve. Throughout FY23, we've looked at about $3.4 million in revenues. Of that, there's about
Hey,
1.3
look how
million
much
that are
it's
local
gone down
receipts.
and how much
There's about
less we'll have to
1.1
pay
million
off
of
the debt
team
next
lease
year.
payments that came in. There's about
Oy.
227,000 of advertising.
Yeah, because this is totally
to see.
sustainable.
39,000 of parking revenues that have been transferred in.
This
through the
is
city council.
crazy.
And then the
This is
Madison
it's so
garage
crazy
lease,
how
which is about
fast that it will pay for itself.
248,000 this
Rhetoric
year,
fell
because
apart.
this was a
We're in
lump
like
sum
the
payment
second
at the
year
beginning of the
of
agreement.
budgeting for this.
Debt expenses were 5.2 million. So the kind of result of this is from the beginning of year at 2.7, we've drawn down on the reserve, but at the end of the year, we anticipate a little over $900,000 to be remaining in the reserve. If you look towards FY24 and the number in front of you of the 2.3 million. So we start the reserve at 950,000 at the beginning
Pointless,
of
and we should blow them
FY24,
up?
where
What?
we left it at FY23. We anticipate revenues of 5.
It is the ballpark is like
There's
the
local
city
receipts
version
due
of
to
the
DIF,
student
which
loan
is about
scam.
2.3
Honestly,
million.
it's
Yeah.
very
There's
very
team
analogous.
payments that increased this year of 2.4
They should
million.
they should do what I do
Advertising and
then.
suite rental, this is our budgeted
Refuse to
number
pay
of
for
about
3 years.
160,000. It's actually
Just
less
nothing at
than the
all. Wait till it goes
FY23
to collections, and
so
then
it's always
negotiate
possible that
to
number
settle
will come in
for
higher
5 cents on
than
the
what was
dollar.
budgeted.
That's kind of sick, dude.
It was.
Oh wow,
Less than the FY23
these numbers
receipts,
even
so it's
better.
possible that number will come in higher. And
Oh
then the
yeah, hell yeah.
Madison garage lease,
You
which
love
is
to see
about
expenses being a
50% of the
lot
lease,
bigger of a
about
number than revenues. That's
250,000.
just great
We
for
have
this
debt
whole
service
concept of it
expenses
paying for
2.2
itself.
million. So that brings us down to 300.
Oh, you just love to see that.
By the end of FY24.
So by the end of FY25, we will be
No.
out of money for the ballpark.
Lowest point at the
Yeah,
end
but
of
yeah, by the end of FY,
FY24,
that is what this
then we
is
do
actually. Yeah,
projects that the city
we are
then
out of our
expects to
contingency fund
additional
3 years
revenue
in
and that's when we
to
see
funding
that
this.
reserve lines start to grow as the revenues start to grow and exceed the
God
expenses.
damn, this is awesome.
And the city will not show that
So we
25
wanna,
because
finish
they
off by
do not want to
saying
show
that-
people that they're
and again, I
fucked
think
up.
this is what
They
Councilor
completely
Russell
fucked up on
was
this.
alluding
Yeah,
to
do
earlier.
And I
the next
honestly,
one.
I feel bad
We-
for Batista
and,
being stuck with
and
this
I
by
think,
Ed.
you know, the commitment of the city financially.
Yeah.
Based on
I mean, he
I
was
mean,
part
he
of
had a
it.
part to
He
play
was
in
part
it.
of it. Yeah.
He definitely had a part to play in it,
the
but like
ballpark currently is paying for itself.
Ed is getting to escape all of
and
this.
Right now, I can't speak for
I wanna hear what he
future
has to
10,
say.
20 years. What I can speak for is that based on our projections and based on what we are seeing right now, it's paying for itself. And so our job is to make sure that we can continue to work with the developers, the projects continue to move forward. We continue to have oversight of the day-to-day of these numbers to ensure that doesn't have that it continues to fulfill that promise. And I think one of the things that I've mentioned before is that at any point that we feel, Tim McGurthy and myself feel, that the ballpark will not be paying for itself, I think the council will know, and I think the entire public would know, because we would be required to come to you for an appropriation of additional tax levy from anywhere in the general fund to move into this DIF reserve to cover any costs. Currently, right now, that is not the case. It's covering the cost
Yeah,
and what we
'cause you're dipping
anticipate
into the
based on the
contingency
development and what I laid out in terms of the development that's coming forward. We know that those are additional revenues that are going to come for the DIF reserve, which will continue to pay for the debt that we currently have in the ballpark. And so I'm comfortable in saying that. I'm confident in saying that, and I think we will continue to communicate that based on the numbers that we continue to present to the council and the way we've budgeted and the way right now that the revenues are materializing for us as a city. So we want to give you a little bit of a perspective on what this looked like. And we think that, that over the years, this ballpark and based on our projections will continue to bring enough revenue to cover the expenses of that particular development.
Councilor Russell.
Mr. Chairman, I first of all, I'd like to thank Mr. McGurthy and the manager for their presentation, to lay it out on the table for us and to show us, their projections and their actual numbers. While you were at the graduation this afternoon or this evening, I had asked for a report on a twice-a-year basis with actual numbers, and I'm looking forward to seeing those reports going forward every 6 months or so. Mr. Chairman, through you to the city auditor, since he's here, I'm going to ask him a question, if I may.
Mr. Auditor. Go ahead, George.
Mr. Chairman, through you to the auditor. Mr. Auditor, have you had a chance to review this presentation and these numbers, both projected and currently coming in? And do you see any problems with these numbers at all?
Imagine he was just like, yep.
Our independent person, and we
yes,
count on
I
you
do.
to review these things. So I just wanted to ask you, does this all look good to you, or is there anything that you think we should bring to our attention?
Through the chair to the councillor. Those numbers look good. I have worked with Mr. McGurthy on his spreadsheet.
I enjoy my job and its benefits and will not say anything that runs contrary to my boss.
Today it looks
There's
good.
an actor that he
Point,
reminds
as
me
Mr.
of
McGurthy mentioned,
who
is
doesn't keep his head
2024,
quite as bent, but I
in
could
terms of
totally
these
see playing this
projections,
guy.
It is
Oh,
dependent
what's his name?
Slattery?
Property taxes coming over
Richard
to
Belzer?
To the fund.
Thank you, Mr.
I
Auditor.
don't
Mr.
know
Chairman, I've got
names.
a couple of other
From-
questions.
from-
if I may.
names.
What's he
the
from?
building that was supposed to go in
Roger
Westfield
Sterling.
that we
Good
haven't seen
Place?
yet.
Oh,
My
Ted
memory of
Danson?
No,
that,
not Good
is
Place.
that, the city had
No.
an agreement with their proposed
That's not the
developer
guy
that
I
even
was
if the
thinking
building
of.
wasn't built, it was supposed to generate some taxes. Is that agreement, first of all, is my
From
memory
Mad Men?
correct?
Let me Google these
Number
names
one,
and
if,
see.
if it is that still in place, or is it we getting revenue as we thought we were going to get through you, Mr. Chairman, and Mr. Dunn?
Yes, Roger Sterling,
Sure,
Mad
through
Men.
the chair to the councilor, it's part of our land disposition and development.
Yeah, me
agreement
and Just
with Madison
Nobody,
Properties,
we
and
knew. We
negotiated
knew it.
that
Yep,
intentionally,
so,
where it's
John
sort of a
Slattery, yeah.
prescribed schedule of payments for a certain number of years, and so we have seen revenues for the FY22
Getting a
and
G League team would have been
associated with that.
such a
So,
better idea than getting a
comparable
minor
to
such a
the
better idea.
building doesn't fully exist yet, but it's revenues that we were expecting, and those have been received.
Okay, and how, through you, Mr. Chairman, how long does that, do those numbers go for if the building is not done? Is it just another year or two, or is it something long-term? I forget what was in that agreement.
Mr. Dunn?
Sure, through the chair. Let me just bring it up. I
Did
know
anybody,
the entire
did
schedule
anybody
is
see that
15 years, the amount that was guaranteed, I believe, was
the
4 years.
PGA and
But it
Live
is in
Golf
the
merged
developer's
today,
best
which
interest
is
to continue
Oh,
making
that's so
owned by
sick.
Saudi Arabia.
does
It's a
build
public
building,
investment fund.
farther out. and
Losers of the next Masters will be beheaded.
Dude, so for the last year, they've been having litigation back and forth and pretty like strong rhetoric. And the PGA was like, basically anybody that goes and plays for Live Golf is like betraying 9/11 victims and families because Saudi Arabia was behind 9/11, and they're like openly like talking about that.
Office building,
So they have a point with, and now today they fucking merged with them, and all this like 9/11 families organization is like, okay, assholes, what the fuck?
So through the chair, the counselor was initially conceived as office spaces. You remember
9/11 was fine,
and then obviously the
we are
impacts
proud
of the
to merge with
pandemic
Live
on
Golf.
demand for office space. They have put together schematic plans for
Oh wow, I didn't know
life
that.
science type use, which would be
That's sick.
mixed,
Did you
really,
see
of
the
lab and
Crown
office
Prince?
space, most
Yeah.
likely? And so that's
Did you
how
get to
they
touch
have
the
been
orb?
Most recently marketing that property as for life science uses.
Mr. Chairman, I remember as part of these plans, when we first talked about Pickett Plaza or
Okay.
Rockland Plaza, whatever you want to refer to it as.
There's a
plans
Prince
that,
at Mechanics Hall?
that I
That's pretty
remember
sick.
showed food.
His
not
one of
food
his
trucks,
kids
but
went to
like
BU.
food, dispensaries,
Where did he stash his haram?
Generating some revenue from that. Is that still
I don't know
on
if
the
that's how that
plan?
works.
Or is that
Wait,
harem.
I think I said the wrong word.
Yeah, haram.
Harem.
Through the
Harem.
council,
Haram
it
means
is our
something
goal
else.
to have that public space activated. And so we actually have right now a draft of a request for interest to identify a private entity to come in and operate that. We wanted to make sure that that was being done in a way that was sort of transparent and accessible to any members, that we weren't just picking and choosing who would operate.
I used to work
there.
at the W
And
Hotel,
since that was initially
and my
conceived,
first day there was
we
the
had
day
COVID,
that
and so we're also trying to be sensitive
MBS
to
and
some
his
of the
family
businesses
checked
that
in
exist in the canal
and
district
rented out an
not,
entire floor, the
competing with
entire
some
top
of
floor of the
brick and
hotel.
mortar that, brick and mortar locations that are paying
I fucked up
full
all
real
their
estate
food
taxes and
service,
all
their
that. So trying to be
room service
conscientious
orders.
about just how much food
That's so
offerings
sick.
would be there versus other types of products that might be
That
less,
would have been an
in
awesome idea,
competition
made
with
up,
those
Mom.
businesses in the district.
Sorry, I know I'm a
Is
minute
that still
behind.
the
I was
goal,
off screen.
to do some kind
Yes.
of
It's true.
rental there? Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, my last question is, it's kind of the elephant in the room. There were some news articles, and, I don't make it my practice as a member of this council to directly respond to various different news stories, but I think
Yeah, I'm not Kate Toomey.
there were some news stories.
Yeah, Tara's doing
one,
well.
With a
She's been
professor
pretty
that
quiet
had
tonight.
made some projections and then some specific
at
things
that
that were on
dog.
the online
She's
newspapers
passed out.
actually quoted some of
twitching.
our city family, the staff, for some of the numbers, and those numbers didn't actually, those
I love
numbers were
living in
not
a
as
house with a
optimistic
dog
and
that
as
likes to
generous
charge
as-
windows.
as the numbers that are being presented to us today, and that
All
have been
of the
reviewed by our
blinds are
auditor.
broken.
Can someone, either the manager or Mr. McGurthy,
So not fair.
tell
How
us
many
what
times do we have to
the,
replace
the
these
difference
blinds?
between those articles, especially the ones that were on the online newspaper, that were projected with quotes from the city staff.
Oh yeah,
Mr. McGurthy?
Through the chair, excuse me. I'm not sure which one you're referring to for the online newspaper, so I can't speak to that one directly.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, I was referring to the This Week in Worcester article that had specific numbers and specific quotes from some of the press person in the manager's office.
Through the
Colleen
chair,
West
I
just
remember
looks
the
for a
article
reason to be
now.
upset with people.
I don't remember the specific numbers in it. I think it was interpreting some of the information here and adding and subtracting in ways that it shouldn't fully have added and subtracted. It was trying to look at a beginning and an end and saying this is how that worked. But I don't have the details, so I can't speak exactly to where that.
She really
That's
likes
crazy.
picking fights with me.
I can speak.
It's a lot of
to,
fun
at least in a little
sometimes.
more detail, the article related to the economic study. The economic study was looking at the 2018 economic analysis that was done of the ballpark. It focused on that economic analysis, which had a 2018 view of the world. So it looked at the Madison Properties projects, the potential growth of those projects, and then it was an economic study. It added in the idea of kind of an absorption within the diff of certain activities that would otherwise be outside of the diff. So it wasn't necessarily looking at the city's financial returns specifically as it relates to the diff as it is today. It was looking at what was projected in 2018 and whether or not those projections.
Okay, so are you
were
going to
met the
create better
economic standards that
projections?
they had
That's the
presumed.
projections
Or-
that sold the
in that
project.
study,
You
they
are
did not look at the
saying
code, they did not look at the Table Talk High site because those things weren't contemplated in that 2018 study.
God.
They looked only at the Madison projects.
Okay, so update the numbers.
Timeframes it was mentioned.
Good
and
data
what they assumed,
and
what
good
they believed
reports
that the assumptions
need
that
to be
were
updated.
in those projects that were predicted.
they can just shift the goalposts however they want. Really,
The way
It's
this
what's
city
going on here.
handles
Chairman,
data
but I would
drives
ask
me
that unless the
insane.
manager has more specifics, but I'd really like to see a report, a response to that. Because if those numbers that were put out there were not accurate, or if there was maybe the interpretation was not there, I'd really like to see a
Mo
public
Berkman, that's
response to
perfect.
that information.
I
At least
second
the very
this.
minimum of correction.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, because I think it's important that the information that this council receives is also the information that the public gets, and it's a clear presentation so that people know exactly what's going on here financially. And I appreciate the information that was provided.
While all the
today.
councilors are talking, I can't help but stare at their Apple Watches and imagine that this is exactly how
Happy that it clarifies.
customer service people at Apple drone out when they're complaining about their email not working.
Yeah.
to respond to those.
Mr. Manager.
Through the chair to the council, we did respond and made a comment to the article to say that the information was using past information and whatnot. And I don't know if that was taken lightly or not, but we try to make some correction on that. And, we've had further conversations with the media on these current numbers and this information with the hope that they can produce a report that gives a better picture of what you're seeing in front of you.
Better picture. Not accurate, but better.
Just better picture. Yeah.
I just have a couple questions. When we're talking about the revenue side of things and the local receipts, its projection is 2.3 million for 2024. So we're talking local receipts. That is included in that, I'm assuming, is meals tax, sales tax, and is it real estate tax as well or not? Through the chair.
Mr. McGurty.
Through the chair, that's it exactly. It
City
includes
Council is remarkably on their back
incremental
feet about
real
this right
estate
now.
Tax within that area, so not the base value, but the increment on top. It includes the meals
And the
use
report
tax
wasn't reassuring
generated in that area and permit
from
fees
Batista.
generated within that area.
So through the chair.
This stuff's kind of hard to disentangle though, because they can really shift the goalposts on these numbers. Like they have a lot of wiggle room to do that.
Is it 8%?
Yeah,
No,
but they
I don't
also
know.
they've just flat out
Through the
said
chair, I
that they
think
haven't
it's
updated
quarter,
things.
but I can look it up.
So
I'm just wondering,
they're
what percentage
proving
of
that
tax?
what they're saying
does
is
the whole
hogwash.
amount get
The problem
deposited
is,
into?
aside from Marco being there,
Through the chair, the amount that the city
the
receives
news
within that district
is not
that's
going to
deposited
look at
to the
this in any nuance whatsoever.
The entire amount.
Yeah.
The news is all just going to be like, these are the numbers.
Through the chair, no,
This
only
was the press
local
release. Copy and paste.
So,
okay.
Like,
Right,
there's
right.
no
Stays
investigative
with
journalism
the state.
on
The
any
amount
of this
that the
anymore
state- the
on
local
the
Yeah.
major news
component on top
organizations.
is actually-
Like
The Business Journal was
Gannett
doing
even
good stuff.
had a
Component
strike
goes into
yesterday.
I believe the local is 0.75%.
Yeah, the local is smaller than the city.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, what?
0.75% of the local.
On both meals and on sales tax? On,
Through the chair, I don't believe, do we get the sales?
I
It's
don't
just
believe-
the
yeah.
meal.
Yeah, the
and
attendance has been kind of down this season, huh? Social
and there's no
potato.
hotel.
hospitality.
Right,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay, and just, so on 2024, the projection at the end of the year is 310,000, which you said is the lowest amount, and each year it goes up a little bit in that end of the year numbers. So what happens after 2051 and we've got millions in there? Do we just?
Your
where
honesty
does
is
it let
always
it go, or
appreciated,
do
Jack.
we take it out?
Yeah, that's pretty
incrementally
sick.
Through the years, like every so many years, we vote as a council.
I
to
love that
provide
study.
to
Is the
something,
city going in the right
exactly
direction with like
item
no
that
context
we will
about what
see
that
as a
even
transfer in the
fucking
budget?
means?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then talk of the Commonwealth
Future
posting the
Council,
exact
that's a good
same
question,
thing
and
with
that's,
additionally
and that-
no
and to
context
actually
for
answer your question
answering.
pretty direct,
Yeah,
yes,
and it was
exactly.
just
I called
like
him out on it on
One
the
of the things
tweet.
that we look as
Yeah.
you see the trend, the red line going quite high. There is an opportunity where we can determine as a council, as a body, as a collectively, whether
Statistics
we
only
can
matter
put
in
funds from that
context.
to use for general uses of the city, other city operations. So that depending on how well that count does, how well we're generating revenue, and based on what we've anticipating, eventually we can then start to utilize some of those funds to offset some of the general obligations for.
No one genuinely believes the
combination
ballpark
through
is
the
going to
chair
pay for
through the
itself. It's a
discretion
matter of
the
passing the
city
buck
manager, what he
down to whatever administration has
proposes
to
and what the
actually
council
deal with it.
also, puts as priority.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I just can't bring myself to like keep screaming about how it's bullshit. Like I've made my case already. I can't keep writing about this forever.
But quickly on the, this isn't related to the ballpark district stuff. The debt service or what have you for.
And it's not going to become a real conversation
financial
until
integrity
folks
plan,
realize that
for
Burncoat
North
will be the only high school not to be rebuilt without a tax increase in the city
Right.
because of the ballpark.
Just
Yeah, and the amount of sort of
aspects
like
where we
tactical preparedness
been
time the city administration
down
has to get out ahead of that and to obscure that reality,
Through the chair,
which is
North
already seems like it's
I
kind
think
of
they're
work
already
right
trying
now.
to do it.
Yeah,
The debt service carries us.
there's a
to-
chess game that they get to play with these numbers that no one is ever privy to, basically.
Right.
The final year's FY.
Worcester just got scammed. It's not a
Final
scheme
debt
on
Yeah.
the city's part. It's literally just
pretty
being
consistent in our
dumb.
payment.
It's a scam on the ball. The
the
Blue Sox
Through the
pulled
chair,
off the
we
biggest coin of all time, but
It had been paid for a number of years at a lower level. The city auditor did an overview of the debt service reserve and the expectations over time. We increased it starting in FY22 to 480,000.
where is there a Joyner Lucas show that
Right
the cops are
now,
trying to
the
shoot
kind
down?
of draw that we anticipate.
Where would he
continues
play
at
here?
480,000
DCU?
through
He was saying at the park.
FY38, and then it diminishes for the last 3 years.
That all came out of somebody
An important thing to note
misunderstanding
is
what
the
happened at the
reserves
previous
are
meeting
kind
when
of
this came up.
Part of the value of the
when
reserves is a generation of interest.
King asked
and the utilization
for
of that interest.
the
So if
city
the
to
reserve
reach out
actually
to
generates
Joyner
greater
Lucas
interest over certain
to
periods of
ask
time,
about
that interest is
what
also
they could do
available
to make the
and could at
ballpark
some
an
point
attractive
again
music venue.
recalibrate the debt service.
Not to have him
Oh
play
my
there.
God.
That might be necessary.
And
That question has
and
been answered.
Unfortunately,
Got it. Thank you.
unfortunately,
And on the,
Marco had tweeted it in
Again, I don't have it
the
in front of
just
me, but
getting
it
him
was
to
the
play there because he misheard
station.
King.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
like there was
Yeah, I
like
think we're
there's
at
a
0% for
there's
this
a
year, for
phone
$0.
chain that happens now, and we're
Can you just
getting
share what it
playing a
was the
game of
last
telephone
two
with
fiscal
this
years, how
issue.
much we were paying into that?
I'm glad I was gone for that.
I know you said it's up at 6 million, I think, or so, but what were we paying?
Sure. Through the chair, in FY23 it was a 1.5.
The problem with the park is that
in FY22
you can't
it was a 1.3
get trucks
million
onto
dollar
the field.
contribution.
Yeah.
In
And
FY21,
trucks carry
it was a
staging
$2.5 million dollar contribution.
Tara, you're being
and then
silly.
in FY20 it was a $2 million contribution.
Oh,
So
she was
the
just rolled
fund
up
as it
onto her back
stands
being all cute.
Right now is about $7.3
I
million.
missed it. Sorry, guys.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Why on the chart it shows only 1.5 total as of 3/30/23? Shouldn't it show 7 point something million?
Through the chair, that was last year's annual contribution. It doesn't show the full amount within the reserve, just how much was contributed in FY23.
Would it be legal for
3/31/23
the city
is
to
not
purchase
total.
a season
Through the
ticket
chair, it's the
to
total
Mega
of the
Millions
allocation that
and
year.
allocate that
The total
specifically to paying off?
fund itself after the multiple years.
It's
Nah, this is the one.
That has a higher
missed
success
that.
rate
What?
than the
Through the chair,
ballpark.
The total amount within that fund, the fire department stabilization fund, is $7 million.
Yeah, the contingency fund is just lottery tickets. Just buy a lot of them.
Altogether, all these funds. After we make the recommended
It's
appropriation.
a good idea.
2024, what are we going to have in this?
Yeah, we set aside $1 million of capital investment into lottery tickets.
I would have to put that together. There's
But it's
not
gonna be-
kind of one.
We rename Worcester
gonna be a
Keno,
large amount.
Massachusetts.
Through the chair, it will be significant, but keep in
We're going to
mind,
rely
many
on a
of
lot of
the funds
Grammys
down throughout the
to
year.
go down to
The high
the
school fund
lottery
pays
office
the
because we
debt
can't
service
afford to pay
related
taxes
to
on
North
any of
High.
these ways. You know what I
North High
mean?
fund pays debt service related
My
to
favorite
North
thing was
High.
playing Keno
The
as a
fire
kid and
department
having my
stabilization
grandmother go
fund is
cash it in
a bit
for me.
different because we haven't initiated the project, so the monies that have been
Because
put in
everyone
are
did that in
for
diners.
the borrowings and then the
That was all
associated
over
debt
New York,
service.
and just
Other
everyone did
funds
it.
are actually
Nobody
drawn down
cared.
throughout the year.
Yeah.
As, and then
Just
replenished.
picturing Gary Rosen
I don't know
bringing
how prevalent
boxes,
that is here, but
Mr. Chairman.
boxes
What
of
is Gary
scratch
Rosen
tickets.
doing, Brendan?
Bringing boxes of scratch tickets at the senior center with rolls of quarters.
All right, get to work, ladies. We got to make this park pay for itself.
No pickleball till you're done.
No pickleball till you're done. Get scratching.
So that's been extremely beneficial for us. And so as we continue to invest in that account or leave that account in that space, based on the current market conditions, we're benefiting on the interest rates.
Okay. Then disregard to the capital.
Polar Park was literally a high schooler getting sold oregano and smoking it and going, "Oh, I feel so high right now, man. I feel crazy." That's where we are right now. We're like, no, it's definitely working, dude. I feel crazy right now. I feel so high.
Dude, I really love baseball. I could feel it.
Yeah, I can feel it.
It's giving an underage kid no duels and telling them it's beer.
Some of these must
Exactly.
must be getting close to paying some of these off. And again, I thought North High School was going to be paid off.
What was that look?
that was a demonic look. Joe Petty just turned into a demon.
That was Roberto Boucher.
We're still playing Worcester Tech, Worcester North. We're still playing all the high schools. We still have a number of years.
Oh, we're flying dangerously close to the quiet part.
Hey, Joe.
Right, so Forest
Couple
Grove
too
must
many
be-
drinks at the graduation.
Well, no, not really. Yeah. So, yeah. So
And
I was
Nelson,
hoping.
and Nelson Place is part of that as well.
Yeah. No, I was just like, this is why I was trying before in the last several years is put as much money into the school building funds that we have. And we did and didn't. We could have put more in there so that we didn't.
No, you either did or you didn't.
I think we get extra money. We should try so we can get
Home
these-
economics with
I
Joe
don't know.
Petty.
Schrodinger's man.
Put in more, but not enough more.
Keep funding these as much as we can.
Benefit
so
of
it's
doubt,
done.
I guess.
I just have some more questions.
That was a question.
And the interest rate was going back to the ballpark. If I remember right, the ballpark interest rate, we got a pretty good deal. I think that I thought there's a good, we should take credit for that because we
What the
used our own
fuck
judgment.
is he
and,
talking
we
about?
invested those bonds, if I remember right.
How do you take credit
get a pretty
for
low
an
interest rate.
interest
That is
rate?
correct, Mr. Mayor. The interest
You-
rates at the time when we did the bonds. they
You
were
can't take
only
credit for interest rates. You
low
just
2%.
can't. That is out of bounds.
High three, close
No,
to
That is
Joe's-
taking credit for the fucking sun rising.
interest
Joe
rates
actually
right now
co-signed on the
are
loan. It was his credit
were,
score that got us where we are
3 or
today.
4 years ago.
You
And,
should take
on
credit
the-
on the interest
on
rate that
City
you got
Square,
in
it's similar to the
2018.
ballpark. Is
That
correct?
is
Directly
fucking
from the
insane.
It's meals tax. It's
Through the chair, on City Square was structured where it is just the net property taxes going into.
Oh,
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it doesn't.
It's in
have
the
those other
billions.
funding
Oh, it's
sources. There
definitely in the
were,
billions.
permit
And that's not
fees
even like
associated with
upgrades.
the
That's just
actual
repair
project, but
to current
it was
code.
just those initial years. It didn't continue.
But
So we
it's
do both
another
Mega
project
Millions
that
and Powerball.
Nobody seems to question.
And the
Yeah,
state
okay.
has basically said
All
we
right.
don't have the
And,
money to
property
fix you.
values, et cetera. But so I'm just
We
trying
don't
to
have the
get at
technology
ballpark.
to fix you,
What I'm trying
Worcester.
to get to is that people keep on criticizing the ballpark on a regular basis without knowing what.
And we
they're
have the
talking
right to do
Wait,
so.
hold on. I want to hear what he says.
It hurts the city of Worcester when we talk about this. It hurts the people who volunteer over the ballpark, people that work at the ballpark, the people that play over at the ballpark, and people who use the ballpark outside the Red Sox organization. We could have ended up
Yeah,
with
Bill.
just have a brownfields and just left it like that. And so I just think it was a good investment. It was a good plan.
Or we could have developed it
And
into
nothing's ever
anything
guaranteed. I
else.
understand that. But we put a good plan together. It's working. COVID sort of put a little cloud over it and delayed. And 2024 is going to be the toughest year. And hopefully those other buildings, as Councilor Russell was mentioned earlier, are done out in the outfield and the hotel. Do we have any update on the hotel? Or is that something that's still in discussion? Or
The
that's
negging
up to
involved, and it
developer?
could have just been a brownfield. That is so crazy.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Mr. Dunn.
It's like it was
Sounds like
fine.
people are getting too close
Yes,
to the
Mr.
truth.
Chairman, we do believe that the hotel building is likely the next building to get under construction with Madison Properties and could be as early as this calendar year.
Plus, there's a deal with the hotel, maybe.
It's nearing its kind of final stages. Like everything, we're hoping that the pricing.
Why does
comes
Peter's
back,
hair look like a hat
and now the cost estimating is happening right now with a variety of
Looks like a Lego hair.
Yeah.
Is that come over by the parking garage, or is that?
It'll be right along the Madison Street frontage, so closer to the ballpark than the garage, like right
across the
there.
street.
Yeah, right across the street from the main entrance of.
Looks
Boulevard.
pretty normal to me.
Okay. And so look forward, hopefully that comes to fruition. So a lot of these projects are going up as the pictures portrayed earlier, when these buildings are in construction now. So this still has my support. I think it was a great investment for the city of Worcester, and it will continue to be, because people have to remember at the end of the day, all these buildings are going to be paying tax well beyond 15, 20, 25, 30, 40, 50 years. That are going
Dude,
up there
no.
now. So
Oh my
it's a
God.
continued revenue source, for the city of Worcester. And I was just curious, Mr. Dunn, on the on the garage itself, we plan on putting up a mural to make it look a little more inviting, and or anything.
Oh yeah, let's hear this.
Dude, chill.
Mr. Chairman, I think there's a
What a
few
fucking
different
leader.
ideas. Right now, the garage is as visible as it ever will be. You know, as these projects get under construction, the visibility will be somewhat shielded. We've talked about potential public art. We've also talked about potential
Listen, 30 years from now, we're going to start getting tax revenue on this baby. So, eye on the ball, as they say.
As well.
Thank you. So we all set then, Council Russell?
Mr. Chairman, two quick things. Number one, I wouldn't want the questions that I've asked over the last couple of weeks to be interpreted by anyone as being any kind of negative on the ballpark or on the project.
Oh, no, I
at all.
wasn't.
So I just want to be clear about that.
Just gave me real
Oh, good job, George. You fixed it.
To people locally and to people nationally and even
You can come up for mozzarella sticks later, George.
we're on target with it, and I think it's important going forward. not
Stay on
only for the
target. Stay on
city,
target.
but, financially, but also for the business community, because we want people to know that this is a winning team, and it's still time to get on it.
Are we
Mr.
actually a winning
Chairman,
team?
my question, when you're talking about the fire bond,
Like in terms of like the team itself?
came to my mind, I have to ask, what would the
I have no
cost
idea
of
what
the
the like their record is.
because that wasn't like a full fire station. I mean, it was a fire station, obviously, but it wasn't like central headquarters. It was just an average size fire barn, right? And how much were we projecting it to be? You would think 7 billion. Sounds like a great number.
Mr. Manager?
To the chair, to the council, I wish it was 7
I
million. Right now, the projected numbers are close to $40 million.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so the motion.
So
is
in
to
10
approve.
years,
Those in
we
favor,
still won't have
motion
made back
supported.
the investment.
That brings us to the final item, which is
Leave alone even
Fine.
all of the
Which,
other money that we've had to spend
budget.
out on it since.
So do we have to approve that? Motion to approve. All those in favor?
Yeah,
opposed,
'cause
so
that's totally
voted.
what success is.
That brings us to the end of the budget. So what we need to do is pass the budget in finance, then bring it to send it to the Worcester City Council meeting tonight on the agenda if we want. So the motion would be to
No?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, just for clarification, so this motion is to take it out of committee, to approve that we're taking it out of committee.
Into council,
The
correct.
actual budget gets approved on the council floor, is that right?
That's what I just said, yep.
All right, so I want to make sure.
What about the line items thing? Nah, who
What the
cares?
process
Fucking-
is.
Just
I
let them
was
do
a
it.
little confused myself, just based on kind of the explanation. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, so we will motion to approve. Roll.
But I thought that it
Motion to
had
recommend
to
approval of
be
fiscal year
on the
2024
agenda.
operating capital
It
budgets.
was.
To send to the city
It's
council.
on the agenda tonight for the
Roll.
city
Yep.
council meeting?
Council Bergman?
Yes.
Council Calorio?
Yes.
Yeah, I took the first
GA?
item.
Council King?
Yes.
Councilmember Carlson?
Oh, 8A.
Council
Yep.
Nguyen?
Yes.
Council Rivera?
Yes.
Council
Okay.
Rose? Council Russell?
Yes.
Council Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty.
Yes.
So, Mr. Mayor, you want to adjourn finance, and then we can jump to council.
Yep. So the motion is adjourned finance. Roll call.
Council Bergman?
Yes.
Council Calorio?
Yes.
Council Haji?
Yes.
Council King?
Yes.
Councilmember Carlson?
Yes.
Council Nguyen?
Yes.
Council Rivera?
Yes.
Council Rose? Council Russell?
Yes.
Council Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty.
Yes.
And I'll have to watch that Polar Park presentation again. That was something else. That was
2-minute break before we start the council meeting.
2-minute break. Crikey.
Chairman, I was going to suggest that if there are time-sensitive items here, that we should take those up, but if there are the bulk of them, instead of just rushing through them, that we should hold them for the next meeting.
Mr. Chairman.
What is going on?
That's Mr. Chairman, that's specific. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought.
Oh, wow.
I thought we were, okay.
Oh, Andy just goes, sit down. Sit down, my little reek. You do as I say. Sit down, George.
He thought they were going into session already, even though
Yeah,
he
yeah.
had just called a recess.
Yep, he's checked out. He's a real galaxy brain kind of genius level operator. As are all of these people. Yeah, George Russell, like, honest to God, just he couldn't even get the name of the publication that wrote the story he was referencing. He was just like, yeah, they said some stuff that doesn't sound doesn't sound quite like the stuff you said tonight in the online newspaper. There was an article. There was an article in the online newspaper that had some different facts and different figures in there. Mr. Manager, could you just explain that? And everyone was like, what? Oh boy.
Bye, Matthew. Thanks for joining.
Bye, Matt. I wonder if we might all want to take Matt's
And just skip the rest of the meeting.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, they are going to approve the budget, maybe, unless it gets held, but I don't know. We can stick around. Yeah.
Was there anything interesting left?
Well, it's all the orders and stuff, but there was no real
Well, let's
real
wait and see what
interesting
Russell
orders.
does when we start back up, at least.
Yeah,
I'm curious where he was going with that.
I know.
Yeah,
He
they're
might
gonna
just,
bail.
like-
They're gonna bail soon too. They might hold it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just gonna
I think
cancel
that's
the
what he
meeting.
was basically proposing.
Yeah, I think so. But they it's on the agenda to approve the budget, so I don't know. Maybe it's worth sticking around to see what happens. But well,
Just nobody Worcester. I agree, and I would totally be prepared to assist in making that happen if I didn't have so much else on my plate. But at the same time, our debate season for Worcester tends to be after the preliminary for some reason, rather than before, which makes no sense for all of the people that are in the preliminaries. But yeah, George and Fiona, she'd wipe the floor with him if she was prepared properly.
Yeah, I don't know.
If
I don't
she
know
actually
Fiona.
got a little bit of. I know her from the business development world. She and I were in a couple of networking groups together.
Oh, okay.
Back when I had my pet care business, and she does real estate. She was a substitute teacher at the schools.
Reconvening.
She
in
does a
city
couple of other
council
things.
And a roll call.
But I think that she's.
Councilor Gloria?
She might be in a little over her head, but I think she would be able to learn quickly and really be an asset to the city council.
Councilor Toomey?
Here.
Mayor Petty?
Her political views have shifted pretty significantly from when she was registered Republican as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
So
Okay, we'll do hearings and orders.
I'm
This
having
will be-
a
this is going to be quick.
more
So
detailed
hearings and orders, we're gonna
conversation
hold
with her
17C, so motion to open
about.
the hearing.
She's
Those in
apparently
favor,
got
opposed, so
questions
ordered.
about
Motion is
like what's going on with the different issues. So I'm going to meet with her and chat with her about it.
Cool.
Nice.
Where'd the stream go?
We don't know. Trev, any
Yeah,
words?
Travis, help.
I got a hotspot.
Cool.
Going back to Facebook so we could have.
Beautiful. Here we go.
Oh my goodness. Come on.
Good night, potato.
Bye, potato.
Yes.
Mayor Petty?
So now you have the adoption of 2024 operating budget. Roll call.
Here we go.
Councilor Bergman?
Yes.
Councilor Calorio?
Yes.
Councilor Hajier?
Yes.
Councilor King?
Yes.
Councilor Merrill Carlson?
Yes.
Councilor Nguyen?
Yes.
Councilor Rivera?
Yes.
Councilor Rose? Councilor Russell?
Yes.
Councilor Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty?
And adoption of the 24 capital budget. Roll call.
Councilor Bergman?
Yes.
Councilor Calorio?
Yes.
Councilor Hajier?
Yes.
Councilor King?
Yes.
Councilor Merrill Carlson?
Yes.
Councilor Nguyen,
Yes.
Councilor Rivera,
Yes.
Councilor Rose, Councilor Russell,
Yes.
Councilor Toomey,
Yes.
and Mayor Petty.
Yes. Next is adopted the council's orders and reports.
Good night.
Did we miss them
Can you repeat what
handling
we're voting on?
We're voting
Griffins?
on the, I believe what it says in front of me is the orders that we've asked for and reports of the committee.
Submit those.
Joe doesn't even know.
So he's skipping the petitions and the hearings?
I think they already did that. I don't know.
Yes. Councilor Calorio,
Yes.
Councilor Haji,
Yes.
Councilor King,
Yes.
Councilor Carlson,
Yes.
Councilor Nguyen,
Yes.
Councilor Rivera, Councilor Rose, Councilor Russell.
This meeting is
Councilor Toomey,
something else.
and Mayor Petty.
Yes, 9A to 9E refer to the planning board. All those in favor, opposed,
Ah.
so ordered. 9F to 9G are for the public works. Those in favor, opposed, so ordered. 9A for June 13, 2023.
I don't understand why this thing keeps freezing.
3:6 p.m. M, N, and O, and P.
It's
All
getting
those in
tired.
favor, opposed, so
It's
ordered.
exhausted.
Yeah.
Here, okay, so here we go. Here's the
Charge and table
bathrooms at
machines at
Union Station.
Station. I think we've done some of that, but we could send that to the manager. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. Next time is remove.
What was that? There's just a grown man groaning in one of the audio streams here.
Was it Porcello?
It was just the city.
Accessibility Advisory Committee. Adopt on the roll call. Roll call.
So did they file that one? Freaking pausing, skipping.
Councilor King,
Yeah.
Councilor Carlson.
Grapple
I think he
with
probably
trains.
just motioned to file.
Yeah. It was too quick for anything else.
Yeah. Yeah, this meeting is something else.
Terrible. Bill, so
Pretty
now that we have
brutal.
a budget, when do we expect to start bickering over the nickel that the corporate sector will have to pay more in taxes this year?
Yeah, I know, right? We save that for the fall usually.
And then this
Yeah,
time we'll turn on
we'll
the
we'll
nation
talk about
to
that.
form a Senate, which
Split
I
tax
did.
rate.
And so I'm glad you
Mhm.
are part of that conduit to make sure that happens here in the city of Worcester. So much appreciated. So we can take 10.35.
Chairman?
adopt-
Just had a quick question on that particular one, if I may. Related to the
What the hell,
Oh,
Facebook?
Man.
goddamn irritating.
was there
Chad, maybe we should go back to the other
in
stream.
here there was a report
The city
described a specific grant, correct?
Pulling
There
it
was
up
a
right
lot
now.
of groups that are looking to have cultural centers. I know the African community back in 2020, we had this council had voted towards a cultural center for the Black community. We know that there's various entities out there.
I like it when he has
I'm
questions.
just wondering if that particular, if there's been any thought gone towards sort of
Fucking A. We just can't get a good feed going.
Is the city one not even working?
I'm just wondering if that particular, if there's been any thought
Okay.
gone
Yeah, thanks,
towards
Jeff.
sort of almost like a mecca of cultural institutions to be hosted similarly through the chair.
So done.
Sure. Through the chair to the council, I think just a brief kind of background
looks
or
like a
description
bong
of
in
this.
the seat next to
we're
the
in
woman
the
in the
period
back.
of time every year.
It
what the
does
state calls
look a
the
lot like a
community
bong.
one-stop process. So a lot of their programs and applications through various state agencies have been sort of rolled up into what they tried to have as more of a streamlined process, so that it was the same time every year. Because what happened was these different state agencies had different programs with different cycles and different sort of deadlines throughout the year. And it was, I think, a goal of the administration to try to streamline that a little bit. There are several urban agenda grants going in from the community of Worcester. Many organizations can apply directly to that process and request a letter of support from us. So we provided some letters of support to other applications going in as well. So this is a competitive process. This might not be awarded. But this is something also that was not driven directly by the administration. We were approached by the community and they asked for our support and working with them specifically as being like the conduit or fiscal agent for it, because some of these organizations are newer and don't have that experience with sort of the fiscal management associated with grants. So that's how that happened. It wasn't something that like we were really doing from like a top down approach. It was something that came out of the community that they were seeking support. So, you know, we're always happy to support these different efforts. I'd characterize this as more of like a pilot process. One of the organizations in particular last year had the opportunity to have a residency where they had free access to the pop-up at the Gene McDonough Art Center across the street. And it was, you know, very well attended, very well programmed. And so they were looking at how do they continue that this year, because they won't be able to have the residency for a second year at the JMAC. So this was kind of the genesis of how that came together. But we're always happy to partner with a variety of organizations on different applications that they might be submitting to the state or federal government for similar purposes.
Thank you. And is it helpful at all for us as a body to do something in support of that? How competitive is this grant process through the chair?
Through the chair to the counselor, organizations have been successful in recent years. I believe last year we actually had 2 awards, if I remember correctly, to the city, and those were applications directly submitted by community-based organizations. One of them was a partnership between the Maine South Community Development Corporation and the Maine South Business Association to support some of the activities of the business association. And then similarly, I believe it was an application from Centro in partnership with Labo and the Dime Institute on some of the entrepreneurship program they've been doing. This particular program, the Urban Agenda Grant, is focused on underserved populations and targeted areas, Black and Brown communities, folks that are returning citizens from the criminal justice system. So I think the entrepreneurship programming that Centro and Labo did last year was specifically tailored to folks that were returning citizens. So there are some, you know, criteria or priorities associated with various grants. And so it's possible that this year, hopefully we'll see 1 or more awards for the city of Worcester. But I don't know exactly, you know, how many applications the state received last year and what like the percentage of success was overall, but we were successful with a couple of applications last year.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just think it might make sense in these situations to have the council as a body provide their support, be it as a resolution or obviously we can do it individually. But I think the quick way is a resolution in support of this that could be sent along with the application, Mr. Chairman. I don't know what you think. But
a resolution. We'll take a vote.
Yeah,
We'll
so
take a roll
I guess
call.
a resolution in support of this. Thank you.
We'll do a roll call on the resolution in support of the grant. Roll call.
Councilor Bergman?
Yes.
Councilor Calorio?
Yes.
Councilor Gia?
Yes.
Councilor King?
Yes.
Councilor Mayor Carlson?
Yes.
Councilor Nguyen?
Yes.
Councilor Rivera?
Yes.
Councilor Rose? Councilor Russell?
Yes.
Councilor Toomey?
The golden lock. The golden lock.
So
We need to bring it back.
10.35A,
We need to bring the golden lock back to
10.36A
Worcester.
through G, 10.37.
Go full goblin
A.
mode. Be chucking that shit around the cave.
10.3 held, right?
Getting in fights over it.
3 areas, not these.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Councilor Bergman?
Yeah.
Councilor Calorio?
Yes.
Councilor Gia?
Yes.
Councilor King?
Yes.
Councilor Mayor Carlson? Councilor Nguyen?
Yes.
Councilor Rivera?
Yes.
Councilor Rose? Councilor Russell?
Yes.
Councilor Toomey?
Yes.
Mayor Petty?
Yes. Okay. We can do the chairman's order, 11A to 11S. Motion is adopt.
Mr. Chairman, can I speak on 11Q real quick?
11Q. 11Q. Hang on.
Are we ready?
11Q. Yep. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let's direct that. Thank you.
What is 11Q?
I wanted to just say thank you to Representative LaBeouf and now former Senator Goby. They sent a letter last week to the Attorney General's office to request on behalf of the city of Worcester and DHCD,
the Mill Street
communities, to recoup $120,000 that the state had put to support the Mill Street families, as well as $60,000 that the city manager put forward to support those families maintaining costs until October at the hotel. We submitted a letter as well in support of that. And I asked the city solicitor today, hope we get to a point one day where we're able to figure out a process whereby we don't have to depend on the state all the time to recoup this cost. But I just wanted to publicly thank Representative LaBeouf and former Senator Goby for pushing through, and hopefully the AG's office will
Still disgusting that the city and state had to pay for that, not the landlord.
For the way that they treated our residents, but also for the cost that the state and the city had to incur. Not that we mind supporting our residents, but they should have stepped up. Just want to bring attention to the fact too that this particular property owners claimed that they didn't have any cents for our residents while they sued them in court. Since then, they've bought two multi-million-dollar properties. I will make sure to remind us and those who are listening that the folks that lost everything in this case were the 100+ families at Mill Street, some of whom are still doubled up with other family members. So just a huge thanks to the representative and former Senator Goby.
So take these on a roll.
That's
call.
crazy. They bought 2 new houses.
Oh, we can take them.
Or probably apartment buildings. That's crazy. Fucking crooks.
Yeah, and we can't do anything about blocking them from buying new buildings because sometimes we don't even know that they are the one that's buying the building until it's already purchased. Because they hide behind LLC, under LLC, under LLC.
Yeah, they made so many LLCs. It's crazy.
Related to
question manager.
Market. It'll be
I know some people in the landlording world who do a separate LLC for each building. Then every 2 to 4 buildings goes under another LLC. And then there's another LLC that holds things at a higher level. And some of them even have another LLC on top of that. And then they have their own property management company that they use to pay all of the employees working on all of those buildings, so they can do that as a write-off instead of having it all as one business.
This is all LL crazy.
Gentleman that came in
Yeah,
tonight.
it is not LL Cool J at all.
All I want to say is I'd like to amend this just to also include to work with Professor Thomas Dolan and the Black History Trail.
Oh, some
Community
landlords
Group.
are definitely super
And
villains.
The reason I wanted to speak
Billions.
on this one is there is some time
Villains.
constraints to getting that in, and Worcester Academy is not opposed to.
I grew up in a family of landlords,
major portion of this.
so I know
What I wanted to
the
emphasize
talk.
is,
I am a landlord myself, but I am not one of the
this
villainous ones.
discussion that we've
I like
had
to keep
ongoing
things as
regarding
good as
Jacob
possible
Stroyer
for my
and
tenants at the lowest possible cost.
history
We're not making anything off the
that,
building.
Worcester Academy.
Just
when
get to
we had
live
the
here.
discussion Was
But
is there a way to
the way that
engage
my family
more significantly
interacts
with
with
the
me taking that tactic with my
and
building.
that's kind of the spirit of this, and
Whew,
really
I get
encourage the
talked
city
to every time I'm
administration
down
as
there.
we move forward. To
Are you
enhance
sure you're
the
not
working
going to increase
relationship.
the
It's my
rent so that
understanding
you can make a little
Worcester
money off
Academy
the
is one of
building?
few,
No, Grandma.
prep
No,
schools
I'm
that
not.
are
No,
embedded
Dad.
in,
No, I'm not.
in community the way that it is, and I think that we should take every
Then
opportunity.
again, they're all still like
to
pissed at
work
me
with
for
them
leaving the game
moving
industry
forward,
after I
to have a
just
greater
couldn't handle the
imprint,
toxicity.
with the young folks there and the young folks in
And
the
still,
community.
8 years later, they're
intersecting.
going,
Thank you, Mr.
but you're
Chairman.
not using that college degree I bought you.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to sign on to that item and offer my assistance. I've been working with Worcester Academy on many issues, and the new head of school there is a great
People on the
person.
Republican side of
more than
things are
happy.
disgusting human beings sometimes.
Thank you.
There are things I love about my
Sign on.
family.
Okay. As amended.
There are a lot of things that I don't.
Which one are we on?
Signing on. All those in favor, post so.
Sorry,
voted.
I rambled.
Communication
That's
seal
all
is
right.
going to be held. That's 13A. Let's see. 14, report of the planning board, motion to accept. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. Public safety, 15A to 15H, motion is accept. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. We have 16A to 16 double B. So 16L is going to be held under privilege. So excluding that one, motion is to advertise proposed ordinances. Roll call.
Council Bergman,
Yes.
Council Calorio,
Yes.
Council Haji,
Yes.
Council King,
Yes.
Council Member Carlson,
So I was like, yes, come on, hurry up.
Council Rivera,
Yes.
Council Rose, Council Russell,
Yes.
Council Toomey,
Yes.
and Mayor Petty.
Yes. 16 double C, motion accepted to adopt. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. 17A through 17C, motion to adopt on a roll call. Roll call.
Council Bergman,
Yes.
Council Calorio,
Yes.
Council
Ooh, the
Haji,
sewer control plan.
Council King,
Yes.
Council Member Carlson, Council Nguyen,
That's
Yes.
the
Council
that's
Rivera,
the pump
Council
station,
Rose,
so that we maybe don't have to
Council
dump
Russell,
Yes.
poop
Council
into
Toomey,
the
Yes.
Blackstone
and Mayor
River.
Petty.
Yes. 18A. What are we doing on that, Councilor Nguyen?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll be quick. I will be asking to hold this item based on the community folks who mentioned their petition was denied. And so one of the things I would like to do is motion to request the city manager work with the chief of police and city solicitor to meet with the Worcester anti-foreclosure team to hopefully meet before next council to connect over this matter, as well as come up with possible solutions and getting on the same page. As I would motion to request the city clerk work with the Worcester anti-foreclosure team to create a petition that captures the dialogue and proposal that they're hoping to get onto the council floor. Thank you.
Okay.
It's crazy to go
So
like
those
4
two
hours
also
into a
send those to the
meeting
manager.
before someone does
Those in
something
favor,
real
opposed,
at the city council, you know?
Then this one will table under privilege, so we need 4 votes. Roll call.
Council Bergman,
Yes.
Council Calorio,
Yes.
Council Haji,
Yes.
Council King,
Yes.
Council Member Carlson,
Yes.
Council Nguyen,
Yes.
Council Rivera,
Yes.
Council Rose, Council Russell,
Yes.
Council Toomey, and Mayor
Yes.
Petty.
Under suspension, Council Haji, or
Sorry, Mr. Chairman, I feel an urgency to take 12H, which is it as it reads. That's my order.
Which one?
12H.
only the
My
orders? you mean?
apologies, I lost track of.
Okay, 12H, request the manager provide the council with a recommendation relative to extending BG 2.0 to RG-5 zoning areas to include Lakeside and the Mill Street corridor, including 195 Mill Street, also formerly known as the Big D. Okay,
As it reads.
we'll send that to the manager for his consideration. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. Okay, motion to adjourn. All set.
Oh, thank
All those
Christ.
in favor, opposed, so ordered.
Woohoo!
Wow, we did it. Okay. Wow, they got right the fuck out of there.
Oh yeah, that was
well,
awful.
what an interesting night.
I like
really
that
just
it's like
terrible meeting.
practically the last item for it to be something of worth to listen to.
Yeah, no one had anything to say about it. They were just like, yep, sure.
The fuck out of here.
Everyone was just done.
Yeah, I've been done for like an hour and a half, I'd say.
Yeah, I feel pretty done too. Let's not belabor this, guys. Anybody have anything to look back on before we take off for the night?
Honestly, no.
All right, we'll synthesize it. We'll get right with Bill the Carpathian, and we'll talk more about it next week. I think there's a meeting next week, right? I don't even know. Don't matter.
Yep.
Come
next
to
week. Yep.
Yeah,
come
we're not in the
to
summer hours till the end of July.
cool. Come to Ralph's on Saturday for Top Dog Titan and Beyond Wrestling Hot Dog and Handshake and a great punk show at the end of the night. It's gonna be a great day. Come check it out. Hot Dog Eating Contest is free to attend, and tickets for the wrestling show and the punk show are very affordable and available. So check it out. Make sure that you are subscribed to billshaner.substack.com.
Yeah, new post today. Check it out.
Hell yeah. That shit rules, and he's been around forever, and he's going to be around forever. So you gotta help him.
Yeah.
You gotta help him sustain his endless life cycle. We get a bunch of show. We have shirts. Go buy a shirt. WCT3K .storeenvy.com. Johanna Hampton Dance is officially picked the Worcester Council Theater 3000 shirt in black. So be like Johanna, get a shirt.
Yeah, epic.
Yeah, hit up Wolf Paws GoFundMe to get them back to Worcester. We need them back in town. Help Wolf Paw get home. And check out at the end of the month we have a show at Ralph's Wootenanny Comedy. It has Kate Willett coming to Ralph's Rock Diner. Kate is a hilarious comedian and writer, and also is a super leftist politically, and mixes it up with people on Twitter a lot, and is cool as hell. I think the perfect comedian for this specific crowd. So come on out, get tickets. They're $10. They're available on our Eventbrite, wootenanny.eventbrite.com. We'll see you next Tuesday, everybody. We love you.
Love you, everybody.
Have a
See you
wonderful
next
night.
Tuesday.
Follow us